Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. Again, I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, again, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around again as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. And I keep saying again because we tried launching the show about half hour ago and we had some audio issues. We might still have some, but I think we got it fixed. So we're just going to start off again like we're doing it fresh. Speaking of fresh, it's a fresh, brand new year, guys. Welcome to the show and welcome to the new year. May your year be filled with hope, promise, wonderful glory, and victory ahead. And we look forward to coming along on that journey with you. And also coming along on the journey with us today is Kimberly Ann Curran. Kimberly, how you doing today?
I have the most amazing case of deja vu.
I know, right? It's a glitch in the Matrix. Speaking of glitch, it's Mr. Ray Ora. Oh, that's not Ray. That's Rob. Forget it. Ray's here. I accidentally hit Rob's.
No, that's Ray.
And Matrix 4 was pretty good.
Chef Pleasures is here. Ray's going to be joining you guys in the live chat. So if you guys are here watching the show live, participate in the live chat because Ray's going to be in there with you. And I just kind of spoiled it already. But one sitting right over here to my immediate left is one Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing, sir? Good to have you back.
John, I don't think we've been in the studio together and doing this show for like 2 years.
I didn't even think about that. It has, since we were in a studio together doing a show live.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years.
It's been a couple of years. I can't believe it's like a house party in here, man.
I know, right? Because you're used to being in the Robservatory
by myself.
Yeah,
with nobody around.
This is great. I'm excited to have the whole family for the holidays under the same roof. And here's how today's show is going to go, guys. We break the show down into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to take some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments or questions. Now, if you've got a live comment or question you'd like to send in, there's two ways to do it. If you're watching live right now, and only if you're watching the live stream, go ahead and use the super chat feature that's in the YouTube chat there and send it in. We'll read those off when we get to the end of the main topics. However, if you're watching the show during the other 22 hours during the day when we're not live, go ahead down into the description of this video and you'll see a tip link. Click on that tip link there or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your question read on our show or an upcoming companion video if we deem your question appropriate to be read on our show. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show, thank you guys very much for your support. And a little bit of house cleaning, guys. Don't forget that if you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video right now, good news, there is the John Campea Show YouTube or podcast, I should say, the John Campea Show podcast, available on any of your favorite podcasting apps of choice. Just go to your podcasting app, search for the John Campea Show, subscribe to it today so it is there when you need it. Okay, guys, with that all down, let's do a couple of off the tops here, shall we? And the first one is this. You know, the news came out right as we were in the tail end of our final show of 2021 that I didn't even know if it was legit at first. But unfortunately, it turned out it was legit. Betty White, who is mere a week and a half, 2 weeks away, I can't remember, from her 100th birthday, passed away. I remember, obviously I knew about Golden Girls. I wasn't somebody who watched a lot of Golden Girls. To be honest, I think it was a bit before my time and whatever. That's fine. But I remember going back, my mom liked to watch old Betty White stuff, like her stuff on television and all that kind of stuff. She was iconic. But I remember for me, the first time that I went, my God, this lady is a national treasure, was the movie she did with Oliver Platt. And that I think it was the guy, what's the name of the actor again who played the president in Independence Day?
Bill Pullman.
I think Bill Pullman. Is a movie with Oliver Platt and Bill Pullman she did called Lake Placid.
Oh, the alligator movie.
And Jane Fonda's daughter, Bridget Fonda, was in that, the giant alligator movie. And she was the lady, turns out she's the lady feeding everybody to her giant alligator in it. And I remember, and she was so foul-mouthed and everything too. And I remember going, oh my God, I didn't know it, but I love Betty White. And then, of course, she did The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. And she just kind of became, then she hosted Saturday Night Live. And she was just the thing. And I remember one of my favorite things was there was a Facebook post going around or some social media post reminding people that when she had the Betty White show, she like had a Black American performer on her show, even though it got tons and tons of pushback and the studio threatened her. And she basically said, F you, he's coming on my show. And somebody had that social media post going around, and Betty White actually responded to it saying, what can I say? I'm a badass bitch. And I'm just like, Betty White is Betty White. And you know, I feel terrible saying it like this. It's difficult to feel too sad when you realize, you know, Rob, you often use the phrase, a life well lived. When you look at Betty White, live until 99 and having the career that she had, the impact that she had, and being as beloved as she was, it's hard not to look at her passing as maybe something of a time to celebrate who and what she was. You know what I mean? So I know, Rob, you saw, what was your reaction when you heard about the passing of Betty White?
Well, I mean, she literally was at the dawn of television.
Yeah,
I remember reading somewhere, and this isn't, someone will have to correct me, but I think she was like on some variety show that was one of the first things broadcast in Los Angeles. And,
I wouldn't doubt it.
And I mean, she literally was in television for over half a century, since television went on the air. And, you know, like you just said, like I always say, it is a life well lived, and you can't mourn somebody who had that kind of a life. You have to celebrate them. Sure, we'll miss the fact that they're not here anymore, but the legacy that she left, I mean, my God, how many people, when you hear their names, just put a smile on your face?
Yeah.
Look, watch this. Betty White. Come on, see? Everyone's smiling.
It's true. Everybody just loves it. Kim, you were here in the room where it happened, to quote Hamilton. But, you know, what were your initial feelings? And, you know, now that a few days have passed, you look back on Betty White, and what are your thoughts?
It makes me think about the connections we make to television and how sometimes we fill in the gaps of our own life. I saw a lot of people say, you know what, my grandma's passed on, or I never met my grandma. And just watching her in my head, she was my grandma. She was sweet and saucy. She was spicy and sweet. And Golden Girls is my comfort show. So I have it playing in the background when I go to bed, because I never go to sleep unless the TV's on.
Oh, God, I'm like that too.
And I have to hear people in the background. And my mom thinks I'm crazy because she's like, turn that on. I'm like, they're my friends. I can't turn my friends off. The shade on Golden Girls. Oh, the shade that these ladies brought. And you know what? It deserves a rewatch because the writing was ahead of its time. It stands very well. And her delivery, talking about Saint Olaf and all of her imaginary things and her analogies, she really was like America's grandmother. She was that grandmother that you're like, Grandma, don't say that. But, you know, always had that warm hug. She'll be missed. And you know what? I think it's okay that you said it like that, because that's the life I want to live. I don't want people to mourn me. I want people to laugh and smile and celebrate. And that's what she did for you. So she must have done it for a lot of people.
And, you know, Rob, to your point, you're mentioning like her face just, it doesn't matter. If you turn on the TV and Betty White's face is there, you just feel good.
Yes.
You just feel good.
She's also someone like Patrick Stewart who hasn't aged in the last 50 years.
Yeah, right.
She's looked like Betty White for 50 years.
It's absolutely true.
I got to mention something in the chat that someone's, Kevin Rubio.
Oh, our buddy Kevin.
Yeah.
He says, tell Rob that Betty White actually participated in one of the very first experimental TV broadcasts in Los Angeles in 1939, prior to its debut at the New York.
I remember that. That's what I was thinking about.
Not that you were around in 1939, but
No.
yes. Yes, if I remember the detail. Anyway, guys, Betty White, a global treasure. Passed away at the age of 99. What are your favorite memories of Betty White and your thoughts as we look back on her life and career? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, there is one more off the top that we should talk about here today, and that is this. You know, we speak a lot on this show about the utter disaster that was Warner Brothers HBO Max's day and date release strategy of 2021. I read an article on, I think it was Reuters, that was talking about how many hundreds of millions of dollars some studios executives are projecting that they actually lost as a result of doing this. They didn't get anywhere near. Now, don't get me wrong, HBO Max has grown over 2021. but their growth trajectory didn't change from what it was in 2020. They did not get anywhere near the amount of new subscribers that they thought they were going to get. Their most successful launch that actually got them the most new subscribers, you guys know because you were in the room when we talked about this. But Rob, a little bit of trivia for you. Do you know off the top of your head what HBO Max's #1 subscriber edition program that they launched this year was?
Friends.
You know what? You're not far off. It was their Sex and the City relaunch.
Okay.
That got more brand new subscribers than anything else.
And that's recent.
And that's recent.
So the compressed amount of time, if they had said something like a movie like Mortal Kombat, I would have been like, oh, it's played for a long time. But and what is it? And Just Like That?
Yeah, it was called Just Like That.
Just Like That. That show's only been on for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So they've received all those subscribers in the last month and a half.
Yeah, it was crazy. But when talking about the movies they did, one movie did stand out as at least, I don't know how many subscribers it actually had to the channel, but most people watched it. And that #1 most watched movie that HBO Max did this year when launching their stuff was Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat. This comes us from friends over at Joe Blow who write the following. According to Business Insider, Mortal Kombat had the best weekend of any of Warner Brothers' releases on HBO Max with a total of 3.8 million viewers during its first few days. The info comes courtesy of Samba TV, which has records of all of the Warner Brothers films released on HBO Max in their first 4 days of release. Godzilla vs. Kong came in second with 3.6 million viewers in its first 5 days, and that film was followed by The Suicide Squad with 2.8 million households viewing the films during its opening weekend. The lowest number went to Judas and the Black Messiah, which pulled in a mere 653,000 households, which is never meant to be a big blockbuster kind of film in the first place. That's an awards kind of film that they did here. I think this is a very interesting number. First of all, not surprised that Godzilla vs. Kong was right up there because that was the first one. The novelty of being like the first one that was coming out of the gate. Godzilla versus Kong. The pandemic was still weak. I mean, that was the first movie I know the three of us, we went to go see in the theaters. It was one of the very first movies a lot of people went back to the theaters for. It did pretty well given the circumstances, and it got a lot of viewers. And Mortal Kombat, not bad. Now, again, 3.8 million viewers. Put that in context. The last episode of Dexter, the new revive, which I still haven't watched. I gotta watch it. But the newest episode of Dexter had 8-point-something million viewers.
Well,
so yeah, so I just think it's interesting kind of numbers.
Well, I think the thing is, movies are a one-off.
Yes.
And the idea, if you want to drive subscribers to your streaming service, you can't just give them like one program that they're going to be interested in.
Right.
I think that was, and Just Like That, the new Sex and the City show is a 10-episode series.
Yes.
That's at least a 2.5, because it's being released weekly. It's 2 to 2.5 months of programming. So that would drive subscriptions. That somebody thought that, well, we're going to put new movies on the platform. Well, what if you're a King Kong versus Godzilla fan, but you're not The Little Things fan, which was one of the first day and date movies we got in January. Yeah. I don't understand how anyone thought that was a viable strategy. Like, people are going to just wait to get new movies when they show up on the service, like they always have.
Yeah.
The day and date thing was not a novelty. After like, oh, okay, I'd rather see King Kong versus Godzilla in a theater anyway. And by the way, that fight scene in the water was dope.
Well, I can't even remember the scene in the water
when they're fighting on the aircraft carrier. When Godzilla first shows up.
About Mortal Kombat.
Oh
for a
no,
second.
yeah.
That fight. Yeah, was awesome. I love that.
And
fight.
if you didn't see that in the theater, you were missing out.
Oh, you absolutely were. Kim, are you surprised? Like, I'll be honest with you. I expected to see something like Dune, maybe Justice League, maybe whatever. But I guess there's certain, like in this case of Dune, I mean, people who were really excited about it, they went to go to the movie theaters to go see it. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Mortal Kombat caught me off guard. Are you surprised by it, or is that kind of what you thought it was going to be?
I'm totally not surprised because you know what? During the height of the pandemic, we were looking for comfort. We were looking for something that we knew. We were looking for an IP that we were familiar with and something we could return to after, I'm not going to call it horrible, but the 90s version was interesting.
Oh, come on. It's one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies of all time.
For the 90s, it was dope. For the 90s, it was dope.
Got a good soundtrack.
It's got a great soundtrack.
Yeah. You can do Running Man in every single song in there. But I think we were looking for familiarity. And so if you think about the time when it came out, it was something exciting, it was something familiar, and it was something fun, which everyone that lived in their yoga pants at that time with spaghetti
Right.
on their shirt, we all needed that. So I'm not surprised.
Ray, you and me went to go see. We went to go see Mortal Kombat together. You, me,
did.
Ann, and Ryan went to go
Yep,
see it.
we did.
Are you surprised to hear about it? You liked Mortal Kombat too, didn't you?
I liked it. I liked most of it, but there's just the story with Cole just was, I wasn't digging.
I know that was the big thing for you, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
cult.
but you know what? Like someone said in the chat, this movie was meant for like a HBO Max. To be honest, even though we went to go see it in theaters, it's one of those ones that they started with. Wasn't it the first release they had? The first movie
I
release?
think Kong vs. Godzilla was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
a little bit surprised. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about that? That apparently, according to the analytics, that the most successful launch they had, I mean, new subscribers notwithstanding, was actually Mortal Kombat. Caught me a little bit off guard. What do you guys think about that? Jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Kim, what is our first main topic today?
All right, guys, this comes from Mitchell A. Hey, John. Taika Waititi's film Next Goal Wins has been completed for a while, but has remained unreleased. Many theorize that it was due to the now controversial involvement of Armie Hammer. Well, now, Deadline reports that his scenes have already been reshot with Will Arnett in his place. Could we now see this in the near future? Perhaps on Hulu, seeing as Searchlight Pictures are behind it.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, I filed this one under not really surprised.
Yeah.
So look, obviously with all the drama surrounding Armie Hammer, and we won't go into all that again, but it caused a lot of delays with Death on the Nile, which ultimately Disney decided after long delays and not really being able to figure out any viable option to go otherwise, they decided they're going to release it. Comes out in February. It's still a Kenneth Branagh movie, so I'm interested in seeing it. And I don't know what they're going to do. I'll be honest. I'm surprised they're releasing it. I really thought they might hide it for another year and then just kind of drop it on Hulu or something. But they spent too much money on it. They need to get some kind of return on it. They're going ahead and doing it.
It looks good.
I think it looks good. I hope it's good. Then we have had Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins, which looks really exciting to me. I'm excited to see it, but it was facing the same problem. Armie Hammer's in it. What are they going to do about it? Well, apparently now we know. They've gone ahead and they've gotten Will Arnett. This comes to us from the folks over at The Variety who write the following. Will Arnett will replace Armie Hammer in Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins. Hammer's exit comes after the actor was accused by multiple women of sexual assault. He denies the claims and says any sexual relationships were consensual, but the Los Angeles Police Department has launched an investigation. In the wake of the scandal, Hammer was fired from several films and series, including the Jennifer Lopez rom-com Shotgun Wedding and a Paramount Plus show about the behind-the-scenes action on The Godfather. Hammer also exited the upcoming Broadway production of The Minutes. He will appear in the Agatha Christie adaptation Death on the Nile, which opens in February. This, to me, is really quite interesting because one of the things that Death on the Nile decided they couldn't do was it's going to cost us too much to go back and reshoot everything. We can't just take him out of the movie. It's not possible because not only is it going to cost us way too much money, we also have to get all those other actors whose schedules are full to now figure out a time that they can all come back and be on this thing. It's just not something that's plausible. So then the same thing comes up here. And I guess they thought, well, we have to. Now, the official line that they're giving on this is that, well, it was time for reshoots and Armie wasn't available to do the reshoots. So we brought in Will Arnett to reshoot everything. Really? because Armie has got a lot going on his dance card right now. Really? So clearly they just wanted to replace him entirely. I'm curious about this because Will Arnett, I adore Will Arnett, but he's not like Oscar caliber actor. I only kind of picture him in certain things. My God, him as the voice of Batman is one of the greatest things that's worth getting out of bed for. Him doing the voice of Batman is absolutely fantastic. So it's a really interesting thing. Rob, you know, you hear about this after Death on the Nile decided not to reshoot Armie scenes, which would have been very, very difficult. Taika Waititi decides they are going to reshoot all those scenes, put in Will Arnett. It does give them more flexibility with how they may want to release it, like all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, were you surprised to hear about this? What do you think?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, after Ridley Scott did it and all the money in the world and got rid of Kevin Spacey,
right?
I thought that was an impossibility, but he did it. And I think this film is a much smaller film in terms of its budget. It's not a huge budget film. And I think it was probably, you know, it's easier than people might think. Like you pointed out in Death on the Nile, there's a wedding involved. They're on a ship in a river on the Nile. There's all these actors. It's a big ensemble cast. I'll bet you, because I believe it's a comedy, isn't it? It's a comedy about...
I think it's comedy, drama comedy, historical. It's based on a documentary.
Right. Yes. And I think it was just probably an easier thing to do, inserting him into scenes and, you know, especially if there's lots of close-ups and things like that. But it is kind of odd. I mean, knowing that Hollywood studios can do that, it does kind of smack of weird erasing history in a way, but I understand why it was done.
Yeah, I mean, I get it too, because at the end of the day, you've invested hundreds of millions of dollars into a project. And if you think there's something, regardless of what it is, if you think there's something in your project that is going to hurt the financial marketplace profitability of your product, you're going to want to probably go in and make changes if you can. Kim, were you surprised by this? And what do you think about it being Will Arnett taking over the roles? I don't know. What do you think about that?
I'm not surprised at all. Not at all. It feels like it was necessary. It's highly unfortunate. However, I just love Will Arnett. And you know what? How many of us looked at Jim Carrey and said, drama, really? And he blew us away. You know, and for, I mean, now there's a whole catalog of work, but in the beginning for Tom Hanks, how many of us looked at him and said, drama, really? You're gonna make me cry?
Oh, no. Everybody looked at Tom Hanks and was like, aren't you that guy from Bosom Buddies?
From Bosom
Of course.
Buddies. And now we're like, oh, I cried before he even does anything. I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm emotional. And it's just a poster. So you know what? If Will Arnett, if this is an opportunity for him to just level up in his career, again, Taika Waititi, it's probably a comedy. There's probably a lot of comedy elements to it. But I think was it Michael Fassbender, Elizabeth Moss? It's got a great cast.
It's got a very good cast.
And so I'm happy for him that he had this opportunity. It's really unfortunate for Armie Hammer, but you know, but this really speaks to the culture of you are not irreplaceable. I don't care how big you think you are.
Right.
If you behave, however, I'm not going to get into the allegations, but I think on a certain level, certain celebrities, or when you're on a certain level in life, you start to think you're invincible. And sometimes that's why some of these people did what they did, because they thought no one can touch them. And I think it sends a message that it should, that you're not untouchable. You are replaceable. And this is how we're doing it.
Plus, you know,
period.
Like Jason Sudeikis in Ted Lasso.
Oh.
You know, there's an opportunity for an actor. I guess why. Do I think Jason Sudeikis and Will Arnett are kind of the same? Maybe not, but in my mind, they kind of are. And like you just pointed out, to have Will Arnett level up, that's a great way to put it. Who knows what we're going to get? We might get something pretty special.
And especially being under the I guess you could say, the directing hand of a director like Taika Waititi.
Right.
I mean, that could be really quite interesting. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? That Will Arnett has replaced and they've reshot the scene, Armie Hammer scenes in Next Skull Wins. Are you surprised that it's actually Will Arnett? I would have thought maybe it was somebody else, but I do love the dude. I'm looking forward to what he does. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Kim, what is our second main topic today?
Okay, this comes from Kyle Arking. He says, "Hi, John, Kim, Ray, and Rob. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so I watched the HBO Max Return to Hogwarts special. I was filled with so much emotion watching it. Harry Potter was a massive part of my childhood, and I loved hearing all the actors talk about their memories. It made me want to rewatch the movies. What did you guys think? Thanks, and have a great day."
Obviously, HBO did the Friends reunion special, which I wasn't the biggest friend. I mean, I appreciate Friends, but I wasn't the biggest fan. But that special was great. Like, I watched it and I thought, wow, this made me actually want to go back and watch Friends again. And so it was kind of a no-brainer that they would do something like that for Harry Potter, especially hovering around the 20th anniversary of the release of the original film. And I am not the world's biggest Potterhead. I like the Potter movies, but I am not the world's biggest Potterhead. I thought it was fantastic. And for some of you guys who are subscribers to my channel, I put up a video of this because Anne is my wife, Ray's sister, Anne. She is a massive Harry Potter fan. And so we were like, okay, midnight passed on New Year's Eve. The Harry Potter special was up. I said, "You want to watch it?" He goes, "Yeah." We start playing it. The opening credits are playing. Just the opening credits. And I look over, this is up on my YouTube channel. I look over it, and Anne is bawling her eyes out at the opening credits. So, of course, being the sensitive, nurturing husband I am, the first thing I do is not go over and comfort her. I pick up my phone and start recording her. and I start recording it.
That's that love.
That's real love right there. And I'm like, "Are you crying?" And all you just see is Anne's face totally covered with her hands going, "I'm crying." And like, she's bawling her eyes out watching just the opening thing. And that speaks to how special Harry Potter is to a lot of people. And I think it took, like, I know Potterdom is a big thing, but I think it took something like this to remind me, this isn't just a big thing. This is a generational kind of thing, this Harry Potter thing, right? Because you had people growing up and now sharing it with their children. It's like Star Wars a lot in that way, right?
I would say that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is a new generation Star Wars.
When I was a kid and how Star Wars changed my life, I remember meeting people that were like in college and like, "Yeah, it's all right." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" But it is totally generational. And Harry Potter, to me, I think I was a little too old. I read the first book when it first came out, but I read it as the Philosopher's Stone because I had a British version of it.
Right.
And I really liked it. It was good, but I'm like, I get it. It was a pastiche of a bunch of different things. But man, like you said, John, Harry Potter is borderline is religion for some people.
Yeah.
I mean, it got kids back into reading. It was the first time I ever saw people line up at bookstores to buy books.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole generation of people who are readers now because of Harry Potter.
And those were like little pamphlets.
Oh,
those
yeah.
were
Compared
big
to, and they got bigger as they went. And it just pointed that out. Like Ann and I, we go to Universal Studios a lot because it's not far from where we live. And there is always thousands of people. Ann and I were sitting down eating actually at Universal City Walk. And as we're sitting there eating, this family of 6, 4 kids, 2 parents walk by, all in their Hogwarts robes. Saw thousands of people always just walk around in their Hogwarts robes. And this thought came to my mind. Tell me what you think. All I could think about watching this and just reading and checking out people's reactions around the world as this was going on was, this would kick Spider-Man No Way Home's ass at the box office. Like that's all I could think about watching this. Is like, let's bring these freaking, look at these adorable little faces. They're children. But you put these, all I could think about was you got another movie together and you have forget the cursed child, just write a new movie and you have these 3 coming together again. How much money will it make, Ray? All the money. It'll make all the money. Not a lot of money, not a bunch of money. This damn thing would make all the money. Like, I got to think, they've got to think about coming back to this. Anyway, Ray, you actually watched this thing last night, right?
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
So much history there. Like, it's a big part of my life. But I just want to say one thing. HBO, guaranteed, anything that has to do with a documentary, behind the scenes, real life, whatever, they are the top of the totem pole.
Oh yeah,
right
they
there.
really are. Yeah.
Sports documentaries, murder documentaries. now getting into
Sports
these.
and murder.
now getting into these behind the scenes of like beloved franchises, they're doing it right too. I mean, they can't go no wrong with these. So I enjoyed it. I shed a tear or two. It was really good to me the way they did it. Like they even had some production value in the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, they really did.
All of them getting the greeting cards, which was such a good way to like get me hooked on it. I thought it was just a straight up interview, like, oh, they're just gonna ask these people questions, but no, they went beyond that.
Yeah.
They visited the parts of the set for the first time.
Yeah, they rebuilt a lot
And
of the
like
sets.
you saw their true emotion, which I loved. It wasn't like set up. Oh, I would never know, but it seemed to me that when they say, "Oh, this is the first time I stepped in this," whatever,
in like 15
it really
years,
was
yeah.
because you could see the emotion in their face, which I appreciated a lot. So I loved it. I hope they make more for other things too.
Yeah.
But this one's a great thing.
I think my favorite person in it might have been Helena Bonham Carter. Because I remember she was sitting down with Tom Felton, and the first thing she said to Tom Felton was, who's of course Draco Malfoy, and her first thing she says to him, "Did you get much stuff? Because I stole quite a lot." That was the very first thing out of her mouth. She's like, "Stole quite a lot," like, which was just great. Kim, you are notorious for always having a dry eye. So I just out of curiosity, you saw the Potter thing. What did you think of it?
Didn't cry at all. I didn't shed any tears. Definitely shed some tears. And I'm not like Anne level Potterhead. Like I like the movies a whole lot, but I cried so much. And something I thought that was really cool, like you were saying, is Tom Felton said, the funny thing is that most of the people that come up to him weren't even born when the movies came out. And he said, one, that makes me feel old. And two, that makes it feel really special. And I thought that's really incredible. And HBO, I feel like every streaming kind of has their thing, and HBO, they're giving me all the feels. The Fresh Prince reunion, the Friends reunion. I want to see more from them because it's like you brought in a really great point. The production value was there. It was very creative the way they did it on the set. I love how Helena Bonham Carter, she went behind the bank. And the little trolls were just like sitting there collecting dust. She's like, oh my God, have they fed them? I thought it was beautiful. And the way they honored those who were part of the cast who have passed with the candles, that totally got to me. That was so beautiful.
Wait a second.
That was really beautiful.
That was shot for that special? That wasn't a part of the movie,
candle thing? No, they took that scene and they kind of re-edited it to honor the people who passed.
Yeah, and by the way, their whole in memoriam thing was very touching and beautiful. Especially, I love seeing that scene where, two of the greatest actors ever standing there when they replayed the scenes of, you had Voldemort being played by, I believe, the greatest actor in the world who doesn't have an Oscar right now, Ralph Fiennes, and Alan Rickman in their scene together. And you're watching that. And like, again, I'm not even the world's biggest Potter fan. And I'm getting like goosebumps watching that. I'm like, and then Daniel Radcliffe puts it best. He goes, when I'm older, I'm going to be able to point back and say, look at all the legends that I worked with. Because you're talking about, just go through everything, right? All the people, like even just this image right here. Like you're working with Academy caliber Helena Bonham Carter and Gary Oldman, and you're talking about working with Richard, and you're talking about working with Alan, and you're talking about working with Ralph Fiennes, and you're talking about working with Kenneth Branagh, and you're talking about working with, like, this was a who's who. Dumbledore won. Richard Harris, the first one. And Rob, to your point about the generational thing, talking about when we're at Universal, we see all the 90% of the people wearing the Potter robes are kids who were not born, forget when the first movie came out, weren't even born when the last movie came out. This is something that is being passed down generationally. And my God, if they, I stick by this thing, if they did another one,
and I appreciate them talking about, I like that they didn't go into drama, I appreciate that they didn't just touch on drama, but I like that Emma Watson really told the truth about how lonely it was to be a kid, and everyone wants to be famous. It's very isolating. And to be so like identified with her character and so lonely. And I appreciated that they touched on some of the truth of being a part of a huge franchise and growing up in front of everybody.
By the way, my favorite line was Helena Bonham Carter's line. My second favorite line was Rupert when he said, Yeah, it's been that many years since we did the last movie. I've had kidney stones in children since then. And I thought that was like one of the best things.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah.
Can I ask everyone here what their favorite Harry Potter movie is?
Deathly Hallows Part 2, actually. The last one was my
Rob?
favorite.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
I think that's
Kim?
with a lot of people.
What was the one with the chalice?
The Goblet of Fire.
Thank
Goblet
you.
of Fire.
Thank you.
And I bring that up
I'm not a
because
Potterhead.
I bring that up because my favorite, and a lot of people argue with me, is just the first one because of when they first pick their wands and they see that world. It's almost the same feeling I get in the Jurassic Park when you first see the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like that I get the feeling of like, like if you were there picking out your wand, that's like the coolest thing ever. So I don't know.
I would rather have picked out my dinosaur, to be honest. No, but I think another thing about this, John, is from a monetary standpoint, this is a pretty interesting gauge of how much interest there is. So if they get big numbers on this show, on this reunion special, it's a pretty good bet they're going to use those analytics to be like, And how much do you think these actors got paid to come back? This was not a cheap special.
No.
There was a lot of money spent on this, which means our characters were paid a lot of money to come do this show.
And the funny thing is they probably didn't have to spend a lot overall because they probably had Daniel Radcliffe in for 3 days.
Sure.
And whatever. So they probably paid them a lot for those 3 days. But to your point, you're absolutely right. There's no way that they're not at least half when they're putting this together. Let's see how this does.
Yep.
Because I'm telling you what, if it stirs like a muggle like me, how Potter fans see, I know the lingo. If that special can emotionally stir a muggle like me, I can only imagine how it stirred the passions of a lot of people. I think there are probably discussions going on right now about how the hell do we pull this all together again?
Well, most importantly, you want Rupert Grint, you want Emma, and you want
you gotta have
Daniel Radcliffe.
yeah.
You want them to be sitting around, the three of them going, wouldn't it be cool if we did another movie? You want them to be in.
Yeah.
Because if they're in,
then it happens.
Yeah.
Then it happens. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think? You don't even have to be a big Potter fan, but what did you think about this Potter special? I thought it was an absolute triumph. I thought it was fantastic. Whatever you guys are thinking about it right now, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And now, before we move into our third topic, guys, let's take a quick word from the sponsor of today's show, Stamps.com. Hey guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Stamps.com. Now, whether you are a small business owner, have a side hustle selling stuff online, maybe you just like to share things back and forth with your friends, good news, Stamps.com is going to help you out a lot. Because if you're anything like me, there are many times in my life that I didn't send something to a friend of mine or I didn't want to sell something online simply because I didn't want the hassle and expense of having to ship stuff out. And for those of us here at the John Campea Show, Stamps.com is going to be huge for us in 2022 because we've been doing more giveaways like shirts, pops and other things, and we plan on doing a lot of that, and that's just wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for Stamps.com. And for people like us, Stamps.com is a godsend because it lets you print out official postage right from your computer so you can spend less time at the post office and more time running your business or sharing things with the people in your life. And Stamps.com doesn't just give you access to the U.S. Postal Service, it also works with UPS now right from your computer. And you can get discounts that you cannot get anywhere else, like up to 40% off the United States Postal Service rates and 76% off UPS. So right now, head on over to Stamps.com and go up to that microphone up in the corner, click on that and enter the promo code Campea, that's CAMPEA. This will give you a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts required at all. And now, let's get back to the video. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Kim, what is our third main topic today?
All right, guys, this is coming from Alton Wang. With all the Marvel movies coming out, including Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and DC movies such as Flash, Aquaman, and Batman, what are your most anticipated movies of 2022? Thanks.
All right. Thanks for saying that in. And yeah, like last week, we did our little discussion there about what is our top films of 2021. But every year, I mean, I don't do lists, but every year I will do, what was my favorite of the year what is my most anticipated of the year. So we're going to do that now. We're going to sit here and talk about what are the movies that we believe you guys really got to keep your eyes on moving into the next year. And Rob, since we've got you here, why don't we start things off with you as far as your most anticipated films of the year this year?
Do you want me to give you the whole list?
Let's go one at a time. Starting from 10. Starting from 10. We'll go down one at a time.
I'm going to start with an honorable mention.
An honorable mention.
An honorable mention. My honorable mention is The Fabelmans.
Oh.
Now, what is that movie about, you might ask? It is Steven Spielberg's, well, it's his roman à clef about his own life, about his youth.
About his mom.
Growing up, his mom, his dad, but it's called The Fabelmans, and it's supposed to come out, I think, holidays of 2022, a year from now.
All right. Let's get into your top 10.
My top 10, hang on. Okay, now I'm going to say, John, I have no comic book movies on this list. No The Batman, no Doctor Strange, no Thor Love and Thunder. I went no comic book movies. So number 10 is Bardo, Inarritu's new movie. No idea what it's about. All anybody can tell me is that Bardo is a term that means like a bag of half-truths. And of course, he did Birdman, and he's done, so many other wonderful films, and I'm a huge fan of his. He's at number 10. Number 9 is Disappointment Boulevard, Ari Aster's movie. And Ari Aster made, of course, Midsummer, and he made Hereditary, great horror films. Can't wait to see what he's going to do with this. Number 8, Top Gun Maverick. Why? Directed by it's directed by Joseph Kosinski. Why did I pick that? Because it's Tom Cruise and it's Top Gun.
That's all you need to know.
That's all I need to know. And they shot lots of jets with real with real cameras. Number 7 is The Northman. The Northman. Robert Eggers' The Northman. Robert Eggers, of course, made The Witch, made Lighthouse. I love those films. Number 6, Elvis. Baz Luhrmann's Elvis biopic. Come on now.
Tom Hanks.
I can't, as the Colonel, I can't even imagine what that movie's going to be. Number 5, David Fincher's The Killer. David Fincher delves back into the serial killer territory he covered so wonderfully in Zodiac and Seven. And I do think, yes, serial killer movies are wonderful. So number 4 from Noah Baumbach, White Noise, based on the Don DeLeo book from the mid-'80s that I particularly loved. That's sort of about the whole malaise of the modern age. Can't wait to see that. Number 3 is Damien Chazelle of La La Land, First Man, and Whiplash fame. His new movie, Babylon. Who knows? It's Damien Chazelle. I've liked all 3 of his last movies. Have no idea. Number 2, Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese back. It's Martin Scorsese. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. I'll watch anything he makes. And number 1, John, Avatar 2. Woo! Don't you dare come at me. I dare you. Everyone always says, James Cameron's making Titanic. Who's going to go see it? It's $100 million over budget. Avatar, it's Fern Gully in space. It's Dances with Wolves on another planet. Yeah. And you know what? James Cameron is doing all the R&D for the motion picture business. He's never let you down, ever, ever, ever. Avatar 2. We're going back to Pandora, baby, and we're going swimming.
I love it. All right, that's a great list. There's a number of your films that are on my list as well. So let me look. I got to cheat here because I was going down and trying to come up with my list, and there was just too much. So I have. First of all, let's review one more time quickly here what Rob's ones were, shall we? Rob's ones were, we have number 10, Bardo, number 9, Disappointment Boulevard, number 8, Top Gun 2, number 7, The Northman, number 6, Elvis, number 5, The Killer, number 4, White Noise, number 3, Babylon, number 2, Killers of the Flower Moon, and number 1, Avatar 2. By the way, Killer of the Flower Moon, my accountant, Josh, his wife is the star. She's one of the 3 main stars of the film. So
don't we get a set visit? Come on, man.
Josh told me he'll get her to come in once the movie is ready to go into promo. So we're going to be kind of excited about that. All right. Okay, so now I got to do no less than 13 honorable mentions.
Oh
I know.
God.
I know.
I
The assignment giver.
But I mean, there are so many films. Listen, I initially had 31 honorable mentions. I am so excited about this year in film. I am so excited about this year in film that at the most I could cut it down to is 13 honorable mentions. Okay, so sue me, whatever. But we'll go through this quickly. Okay, the first group of honorable mentions, I got to say this: Mission Impossible 7, of course. The Flash. I mean, there's a lot. We're gonna be talking about the Flash in a bit, but there's so much going into that, Stu. I love the first Aquaman, so Aquaman 2 I'm excited about. I'm excited about Jurassic World Dominion. I'm excited about Avatar 2, and I'm excited about Morbius. One of the films that they showed us at CinemaCon was some stuff for Bullet Train. Being directed by John Wick's David Leitch, Brad Pitt, Andrew Koji, who is the best part of Snake Eyes, and his show. What's the show called? Warrior. His show Warrior. I absolutely love him. Andrew Taylor Johnson. So you got Kick-Ass in there. Brian Tyree Henry, Zazie Beetz, and they all play assassins after different targets on a train. Being directed by the John Wick director who also did Deadpool 2. This, of course, Bullet Train's got to be on there. So I'm super excited about Bullet Train. Also, I'm excited about Babylon. I mean, it's Damien Chazelle. So, I mean, you look at his last 3 films.
Man. You like La La Land, right?
I love La La Land. I really did. Not as much as a lot of people did, but
Scott Mance.
Nobody likes it as much as Scott Mance does. So there's that. There is Turning Red. That's the new Pixar film. I think that looks amazing.
It does.
So that sounds great. Elvis is one of the ones that I've got on there. Bullet Train we already covered. Then this one I got to talk. This one kind of came out of nowhere and shocked me because the trailer came out and I never even heard of it. Everything Everywhere All at Once with Michelle Yeoh.
I forgot. That trailer's amazing.
Doesn't that look amazing? Yeah. It looks so good. So I'm like, how can I not put Everything Everywhere All at Once on at least my honorable mentions list? Then, how can you not be excited about Don't Worry, Darling? The new Olivia Wilde film. She came out of the gate with Booksmart as her directorial debut. We've all been waiting for her next film. Don't Worry, Darling, coming out, looks great. I also got to mention The Gray Man. This is, for those of you who don't know anything about what The Gray Man is, it is a former spy being played by Ryan Gosling who's got a hit put out on him, and one of his former colleagues is after him, being played by Chris Evans, and it's being directed by the Russo brothers. So the Russo brothers with Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling in like a spy versus spy kind of actioneer film. How can you not be excited about that?
Yeah.
So, okay, so my honorable mentions.
Damn.
Mission Impossible, The Flash, Aquaman 2, Jurassic World Dominion, Avatar 2, Morbius, Bullet Train, Babylon, Turning Red, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Don't Worry, Darling, The Gray Man. There's so many fucking good movies coming up this year.
You told me I could only have 10.
I know.
Come
And then I
on.
totally cheated. I did tell you could put in some honorable mentions if you wanted to, but I said
put in
maybe
one.
Like 3.
Honorable mention.
But I was up last night so late, and I'm trying to pare down the list. Like I said, it was 31 at first. My honorable mentions were 31.
There's a lot of crazy foreign films, like there's Pink
yeah.
Sky or Pink Cloud or whatever. I want to see that. Didn't put that on the list.
All right, so let's get into my actual top 10.
The actual top 10. Here we go.
Yeah, the real top 10.
The real top 10. So I'm going to put up the top 4
I'm
here
putting
all at
50
once.
on my next list.
And well, you should. All right, so we're gonna start off with these, and then we'll get into the top 3. My number 10 is Black Adam. I think probably because it's been like 5 years since we were at CinemaCon and saw Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson
It's
come
been
out.
78 years.
It's been 78 years. So I guess I've been waiting so long for it that I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you I am very, very excited for this. I don't know if it's going to be great or not, but I've just the built up, anticipation for it's got there. Number 9, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Don't care. Uncharted. I think the last trailer looked fantastic. I think this could be the start of the next great adventure series. It could be a total bag of crap, but I don't care what anybody else says. I think this looks like it has a lot of things going for it. Last trailer was great. Killers of the Flower Moon at number 8. You got Leo DiCaprio working with Marty Scorsese again. I mean, but Marty Scorsese said he didn't think comic book films are cinema. Yeah, okay, that was a dumb thing to say. He's still one of the top 4 greatest directors of all time. And he's working with Leo DiCaprio, and they constantly make magic together. So Killers of the Flower Moon is my number 8. Number 7, Lightyear. I mean, when they first announced it, I thought that's weird. But then I saw the trailer and I'm like, okay, I felt like my heart stirred watching
It looks
that.
great.
It looks so good.
The design
and that
is incredible.
Song choice, no man, like it was just a perfect song for that. Number 6, Doctor Strange 2. I love Benedict in this role. I love Wong. I love everything about this franchise. The trailer was great. It looks like a lot of really cool things could happen. We'll see what happens there. Number 5, Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, you guys know that I think the first Thor movie is the second most underrated comic book film of all time. Directed by, again, the great Kenneth Branagh. Thor Ragnarok was so bonkers great. And Taika Waititi's back. And then you got Christian Bale
I can't wait.
as Gore the God Butcher. I mean, how can you not be excited about that? So now my number
What's
five,
the first most underrated comic book movie of all time?
I can't. Oh, that guy's movie right there.
Oh,
Right there.
In case you didn't
Man
know.
of Steel, in case you didn't know, is the most underrated comic book film of all time. Anyway, moving on now. And then 4, I never would have said this before CinemaCon, but they showed us like 15 minutes of Top Gun Maverick at CinemaCon. I have been saying for a year, this movie is too late. Nobody cares. This is going to be a sad kind of trying to give it.
You're wrong.
Throw that all away. Forget I said any of that. I watched like 15 minutes of this and I almost wanted to riot when the footage ended. I'm like, no, you keep playing this. Keep playing this. It was phenomenal, the stuff they showed us. I couldn't believe it. So I'm really, really excited about that. All right, let's get into my top 3 here, shall we? This won't surprise anybody that it's in my top 3. At number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie came out the same year as Black Panther and came out the same year as Avengers Infinity War. And I believe this was the best comic book movie that came out that year. I still believe it's the best close competition between it and Spider-Man 2. But for now, I'll say I think it's probably the best Spider-Man movie ever made. And then that trailer came out, which was very unexpected. And it had all the charm and all the glory. So I'm really looking forward to that. So my number 3 most anticipated film this year, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 2, another film you mentioned, Rob, The Northman. I heard about The Northman. I'm like, okay, this sounds like it could be interesting. You got Eggers, who directed The Lighthouse
And Witch.
directed The Witch. I loved The Witch.
Loved it.
Absolutely. It wasn't for everybody. I thought it was fantastic. I still don't know what the F The Lighthouse was, but I know when I came out, I'm like, and I've never stopped thinking about it. I've never stopped thinking about The Lighthouse, even though I'm still not sure what it is I watched. They showed us a good 10 minutes of The Northman at CinemaCon. And I'm a big fan of the History Channel's Vikings, the show. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, this could be the best film of the year that's coming out. This could be the best film of the year. Obviously, it might be garbage. I haven't seen it yet, but it could be the best film of the year. The Northman is my number 2 most anticipated movie of the year. No surprises here. Everybody knows what my number 1 is. Twilight Boy, starring in
Oh my god.
The Batman. Twilight Boy, starring The Batman. I was always excited about it. I love the casting of Robert Pattinson. I mean, I want Ben Affleck directing it, but if it can't be Ben Affleck, Matt Reeves is great. So I'm excited about that. But it's been the trailers. The trailers have given us a sense of what the tone that Matt Reeves is going for in this movie, the era in which it's going for, what kind of Bruce Wayne we're getting. It looks visceral. It looks like a great 80s, 90s psychopath serial killer hunt movie, like a Seven or like something like that, mixed in with a comic book movie. I cannot help myself. I am bananas excited for the Batman. Now, again, it might be terrible, but I am bananas excited for it. So again, my top 10 are Black Adam, just because it's been like 78 years of waiting for it, and I'm super stoked for it. Number 9, Uncharted. Number 8, Killers of the Flower Moon. Number 7, Lightyear. Number 6, Doctor Strange 2. Number 5, Thor, Love and Thunder. Number 4, Top Gun Maverick. Number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 2, The Northman. And number 1, The Batman. And there's one other I forgot to mention for honorable mention. I think you'll agree with it. Knives Out 2.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with that.
I totally forgot about Knives Out 2. Knives Out 2 I've got to have in my honorable mentions list. So listen, this has been running a long time. But Ray, let me ask you. I'm not going to ask you to give a full 10.
I won't.
But if you had to say like your three movies, you want. What are 3 movies you're like most excited about this year?
One honorable mention, because we have nothing on it yet, but that Nope.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
Jordan
I can't wait to
Peele's
see
new
that.
movie.
Yep.
Not going in that scary house. Nope.
But okay, we talk about South Park a lot and a lot of the animated films.
Yeah.
A lot of people, my favorite animated film, which I keep up with weekly, is Bob's Burgers. So that movie's
the
coming
series.
out.
Yeah.
So that's one of mine. Another one is because I like space and natural disasters. There's a movie coming out in February called Moonfall.
Moonfall. They showed us a bunch of that at CinemaCon too.
What do you think?
Okay, look.
Well, look,
It's being
Dude, I'll go
directed-
with you. We'll go opening night, bro.
Yeah, because with me, when it comes to natural disasters and space, it doesn't have to make sense to me. Just
Oh,
make
I'm
it.
in.
The effects be good.
And alien
I just want to have a good
technology
time.
on the moon?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
And
So
it's being directed by
Toby Emmerich.
Wait, what?
Roland
Emmerich.
Emmerich.
Oh, Roland
Toby
Emmerich.
Emmerich's the studio executive.
Okay.
Who is like Roland Emmerich,
From
who is
Sony,
like
right?
Warner Brothers.
who is
Warner
like the
Brothers.
king of the disaster
Disaster guy.
films.
Yeah, right.
And look, does it look like it's going to be, to quote Marty Scorsese, cinema? No. Does it look like it could be completely bonkers fun? Yeah, maybe.
It's like the moon attacking Earth, right?
It's
Is
the
that what it
moon-
is?
It's kind of the moon attacking
Well,
Earth.
I'm all in, baby.
As long as it's Unicron, right?
Yeah,
As long
yeah.
as
Okay.
it's Unicron.
And my number one has to be because with Jonathan Majors, Creed 3. So that's my
Oh,
that's my
yeah,
list.
I totally
Big
forgot
boxing
about.
fan. It's got to be Creed 3. I want to see how Michael B. Jordan does behind the camera.
Oh, yeah,
And
he's
also on the set.
directorial friend, that's
So
right.
yeah, that's my 3 right there.
What about you, Kim? You got the couple you want to mention?
I have a quick list. 10, Doctor Strange. 9, The Lost City, because I love to laugh, and I think Sandra Bullock is just gonna
The
bring
new
it.
Romancing the Stone.
It's exactly.
Hey, again, they showed us a bunch of it at CinemaCon. It actually looks like it has some promise.
I'm
It really
looking
does.
forward to this because I want to laugh till I cry, and she always does that to me. Don't judge me. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I think a lot of people have that on their list.
Absolutely love Nicolas Cage. Aquaman 2, The Batman, Bullet Train. Number 4, Black Panther. I'm rooting for this film, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do and where the story's going to go. Mission Impossible 7. I wrote out a whole paragraph. We don't have time. Maybe on my Instagram, I'll talk about it. This franchise means so much to me, and Tom Cruise's dedication. It's not just like, oh, I just want to cause drama and do incredible stunts. His dedication to making this world real is incredible. So I'm excited to see that. Black Adam. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited to see Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
And Aldous
Yes.
Hodge. I love that guy. He has great energy. And The Rock, we always imagine him. He can be walking around in a nice business suit, and we see him as a superhero. So I'm excited to see him embody a superhero. And number 1, Jurassic Park Dominion. Seeing that Mosasaurus come through as people were surfing, it's answering the question that we all thought when we saw the first one. We were all wowed, like, you took us into the world of dinosaurs. And we always thought all these years, except for when they went to New York, what's it going to be like if they come into our backyard, if we're golfing and we
Right.
see a T-Rex? You know, that end of the scene with the T-Rex growling at the lion at the zoo? I can't wait. I cannot wait. That's my list.
And that thing is going to make a ton of money. It's going to make a ton of money. when
Huge.
it hits.
I just
I
want
want to do ticket watch for that.
I want all the people to get eaten. Like all the money. I want all the people.
All the
Every
people
human
get
being. I want to see lots of carnage.
Oh man,
You
I'm
and
there.
Jeff Goldblum are on this
Carnage,
wavelength.
carnage, carnage.
I will say this, though, that because one of the films that I wrestled with was one that you mentioned, which was Black Panther 2. And here's why I ultimately left it off my list. Now, this movie, I hope it ends up being the best comic book movie ever. But number 1, it doesn't have Chadwick Boseman. So that instantly hurts my anticipation level of it. Number 2, they made what I believe is the mistake of writing out the T'Challa character. I'm like, okay. Again, I get it. They did it for respect reasons, but I think it would be more
Has that
respectful to
actually
do-
been confirmed? It's been
yeah.
confirmed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They're
okay.
shooting
I didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I thought they were on the fence about it.
No. They announced a long time ago they weren't going to recast it. And so, number 1, it doesn't have Chadwick. And then number 2, they've taken out the main character. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So that doesn't mean I think the movie's going to be bad, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that really made a hit on my anticipation. Why wasn't it like, Rob, I know you kept comic book movies off your list, but would Black Panther have been on your top 10 of anticipated if you had included them?
Here's the thing. If someone said to me, Rob, if you had to make Black Panther Wakanda Forever in the wake of Chad Boseman's passing, how would you do it? And I would say, you know what I would do? I'd make Godfather 2. In Godfather 2, you see a young Vito Corleone, and you see how he rose to power and how he became the Godfather, because Marlon Brando died in The Godfather, and you bring back. So
bringing Robert De Niro to do it.
I would do a relationship story between young T'Challa and T'Chaka, where T'Chaka had to go through some ordeal. And then at the same time, juxtapose that with a modern day current MCU story, and you watched both stories play into one another. And so the new person that has to rise up, maybe there's a competition, a struggle for power, whomever, that would juxtapose with the original story when T'Challa was a boy.
That's a really good idea.
That would be my idea.
I love that idea.
So you're welcome to it. Please, anyone take that story and run with it. Hey, Marvel, I'll write that comic book.
Hello.
All right, guys. Question is for you. I mean, we literally could have done a 4-hour special,
I could go on. I'm not kidding you. I legit wrote a paragraph at 5 a.m. this morning because I was so excited to talk about it. And I know we don't have time, but yeah.
Question is for you.
I'm just happy I got a date for Moonfall.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Ray.
There, man. Ticket watch.
Ticket watch.
Rob and Ray.
What do you guys think? What were there films that we left out of our list that you would put on? Are there films that we have on our list that you would definitely take off? Whatever you guys are anticipating this year, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Kim, what is our 4th main topic today?
All right. This is from Hayden Wilson. They say, I have seen some insider reports going out saying that an early cut of the Flash movie has been screened to some audiences. It seems that the movie will erase the Snyderverse and all the things related to what Snyder tried to build. No more Cavill or Affleck. It would hurt me to see them do this. John and crew, what do you all think?
Well, okay. First of all, let's say this. Any reports that come out about early audience screenings is usually 1,000% bullshit. Okay? Because anybody can say, some early audiences saw bullshit. Bullshit. That you would even know that. Like, unless the Russo brothers come out and say, we did an early screening of one of our movies, or a studio exec. It's 99% of the time, it's absolute bullshit. Remember the early reports of the first Wonder Woman movie? Oh, they say early screenings and people hated it. That movie was beloved by everybody. Or the original theatrical release of Justice League. Oh, the executives gave it a standing ovation. That was bullshit. I know for a fact, because I know some people at Warner Brothers. I know for a fact that was 100% bullshit. It's normally bullshit. But there is word going around that some people are claiming, and you got to take this with a giant grain of salt, guys, but it's going around. A lot of people are asking about, so let's discuss it. Saying that the new Flash movie is basically going to retcon everything from the DCU up until this point. Specifically, here's what comes to us from the folks over at CBR. And CBR write the following. The Flash will erase every movie Snyder has done, including the events of Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League. If these rumors are true, it means that Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne / Batman and Henry Cavill's Superman will have been completely removed from the DCEU's continuity. Director Andy Muschietti confirmed in October of this year that filming had officially wrapped on The Flash. Around that time, Muschietti confirmed during a panel at DC Fandom in China that the upcoming film will hold its fair share of surprises. We can tell you there are surprises. How many surprises? What kind of surprises, Ray?
Regular surprises.
Surprises. We cannot reveal what they are, the director said, but it will probably blow your socks off. The less we talk about it, the better. All right. So again, I want to say this whole rumor thing, and CBRs say, their quote CBRs, their source is just a Twitter user, put this up and blah, blah, blah. But it's somebody who's had a little bit of a track record, so whatever. let's for the moment, for the sake of argument, say that this report is even marginally true. Okay? Just for a moment. For the sake of discussion. Is it really all that crazy? I mean, just in the last little while, DC Comics itself has done not one, but two full-on, full-fledged reboots. Whether it was the New 52 and then what was it, Rebirth?
Well, they did Crisis on Infinite Earths in
and
the
then
80s.
Even before that, yeah, and after going back
Zero
away.
Hour, Infinite Crisis, the New 52. I mean, they've done it within the continuity of their own comics.
Exactly, which to me is like, okay, a lot of times us fans are crying, be more like the comics. And then they do something like the comics. How dare you do that? I mean, the comics themselves have often done full reboots, right? Would I be upset to find out that this new Flash movie, something's going to happen and it's going to reset the timeline. It's going to reset it so all the events that came from are now forever changed. Henry Cavill's Superman was never there. The Ben Affleck Batman, even though he's going to be in this Flash movie, the new Ben Affleck Batman was never there, which, I mean, we know Michael Keaton is going to be Batman moving forward, at least for one or two projects. My ultimate thing is, I don't care. But John, you love Henry Cavill as Superman. Yeah, I do. But guess what? If they do use the Flash movie to reset the timeline and start fresh, guess what? My Henry Cavill standee doesn't disappear. It doesn't get Thanos snapped away.
How do you know?
You'll never know. But my digital copy of Man of Steel, honestly, my two digital copies of Man of Steel, my digital copy of Man of Steel doesn't Thanos snap away. It's still there. It's still one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. It's still the most underrated comic book movie of all time. That doesn't change. And it's still a part of history, even though the DCU continuity gets reset. And this is only if they're doing that. And I'm not convinced they are. But if they did, all it means is they're moving on to the next chapter of their story. And they're doing what the comic books have always done, which is done some kind of hard reset on their universes moving forward. So honestly, if they're doing it, my point of view is it is neither a good thing nor a bad thing. It's just what they're doing. It all depends on if it's executed well, you know, if they tell a good story and if they make it make sense. And if they make it make sense, then I'm okay with it. And I'll always have I'll lament that I won't get to see Henry as Superman again. I'll lament that. But that's probably what was happening anyway. So I don't know, Rob, you hear about this. The first thing I want you to touch on is, what do you think of the chances are this is valid? But then, just for the sake of discussion, if it is valid, what's your take on it?
Well, first of all, you have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and I would imagine that Ezra Miller doesn't disappear at the end of his own movie. So Flash is going to stick around. Those are three characters and actors that Zack Snyder cast. And
Yes.
You've got Aquaman 2 is coming out because Jason Momoa is not going anywhere. Gal Gadot's going to play Wonder Woman again. So you're not really eliminating
It's not 100%
the
reset, yeah.
Snyderverse. However, I could see that at the end of the film, Ben Affleck, because of the Flashpoint storyline that they're touching on, might get retconned out of the universe, which makes sense to me because we're getting a new Batman, and why not a new Superman? J.J. Abrams has been rumored to be taking over Superman or making a Superman movie. Obviously, he wrote what McGee was going to direct, the Flyby script that didn't get made in favor of Superman Returns getting made. So I don't see it as eliminating Snyder's Justice League. Like, I would love to see a Snyderverse continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League where we see the defeat of Darkseid, or they go and whatever, Mongol, whatever you were going to do. I would love to have seen that. That is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But the DNA of Zack Snyder's Justice League continues on at Warner Brothers. And that's pretty cool.
And look, as a massive, obviously, fan of Henry Cavill's Superman,
Me too.
the reality is this: I have to separate my fandom, I should say, from everything else and go, the reality is I've always understood that just because I love it, you love it, a lot of people didn't like Henry Cavill's Superman. And that's fine. I mean, all film is subjective, and they did not have the success with that iteration of Superman that they or any of us wanted it to have. That's the reality. And it's easy for me as a fan, because it's not my money, going, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And well, that's easy for me to say, but if it's not working for them, and the audience hasn't responded to it great. I mean, look, you know me, I've always wanted him to come back, but apparently he's not. Let's say this. It might not be the worst idea in the world for them to try to hit something of a 50% reset button and say, okay, we're going to try something different because what we've been doing hasn't had the success we wanted. Is it the dumbest thing in the world to say, let's try to kind of restart? I don't know. It depends on how they do it. Kim, what do you think about all this?
You know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because, look, Zack Snyder did an amazing job. One of my favorite films this year was the HBO Zack Snyder cut. I was so excited for it. I believe it delivered. It had so many elements I loved. I don't think he did a bad job at all. But I think a reimagining is totally fine. And for me, DC films have, although I love Zack Snyder, they cohesively, they kind of hit different for me. I don't get as excited as I do about Marvel. And so I'm fine with them kind of pressing the reset button and saying, let's review the storytelling and see if there's a different angle. So I'm excited for this movie, and I'm excited to see how they tell the story. I'm open
now,
to it.
It could end up being disastrous. I mean, what they do in The Flash could end up being like a nuclear meltdown kind of moment for WB on this. It could be absolutely horrible. It could work out well. Look, all I'm saying is I'm not going to rush to judgment on the plans of resetting because, look, it is beyond, there's no debating it. There is no discussion to be had that the DCEU has not performed the way they hoped it would perform.
Yeah.
From when Man of Steel came out till now, even though Man of Steel is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. And I'll keep saying that for the rest of my life, forever and ever, for always and amen. And despite the fact that I like Batman versus Superman and I like Justice League and all that kind of stuff, look, if you're making a product and it's not working the way you want it to, you'd be a fool to not make changes.
Well, I think there's something you're missing here, and that is, and I'll tell you this. I saw this on a schedule. They're making The Flash No Way Home again, and Brandon Routh and Henry Cavill and the new Superman that they've already cast. So all three Supermen are coming back in the third.
Is Dean Cain going to come back?
You know what? I asked that, and they only if the two Superboys that they had cast early on. And I didn't want to say anything, but since you brought it up, John, I mean, Warner Brothers is playing the long game. They looked at these box office numbers. They're like, hey.
Again, so look, I understand that this headline, Flash rumor says the film will erase previous DCU movies. Well, okay, no. My beloved copy of Man of Steel is still there. Those movies actually still happened. And before we get too upset, I'm just going to say, well, let's see what the plan is. Right now, here's one of the crazy things about us movie fans, and I include myself in this because I do this too. I'm guilty of this. We hear a rumor or even a little tidbit of a fact, and then we construct an entire world around that one acorn of information we have, and we totally get carried away with it. I've done it. Everybody who's watching the show has done it.
Hashtag Mephisto.
Hashtag Mephisto. Right? And we've all done it, right? So I think we all need to learn, including me. It's like, okay, look, let's see the movie.
Yeah.
And maybe the movie looks good, maybe it looks bad, but let's see and actually find out what their plan is before we get too wound up or too excited about what the meaning of the movie is when we haven't even seen the movie yet. So,
I mean, we are, no joking aside, or all joking aside, we are getting 3 different Batmen on screen this year.
It's crazy.
We're getting Robert Pattinson, Ben Affleck, and Michael Keaton. I mean, that's not quite No Way Home, but that's pretty amazing if you really think about it. So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But we did get a Henry Cavill trilogy.
Yeah, we did. I mean, if I don't get anything more, I still got Henry Cavill in a number of them. And from his chest to his waist, even though it wasn't really him, in Shazam. So there's that. There's that. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you, like sometimes we are, like Chicken Little running around saying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling? Are you like, no, this is a great idea? Are you kind of like me, maybe somewhere in the middle saying, well, let's see what that happens. However you guys are feeling about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With all that down, and before we move into your live comments and questions, it's time for us to play a little game of Over Under.
God. Oh.
And we've got a giveaway today. It's an autographed by myself, Kimberly Ann Curran, Ray Orr, and Robert Meyer Burnett. Speaking of DC and all this kind of stuff, we've got the special DC Universe Pop Heroes The Joker vinyl figure that we are going to be giving this away. It's going to be autographed by all of us here. And it's come down to three of our viewers. Three of our viewers are competing here. First of all, Kim is going to be representing our viewer, Abraham Infante. So Kim is going to be playing for Abraham Infante. Ray is going to be playing for Eduardo Damas, the ever-confident Ray.
Unfortunately.
It's going to be representing Eduardo Damas. And Rob, in his first game of Over Under, is going to be representing our viewer, Jordan Hernandez.
All right, Jordan, let's go, buddy.
So
Ray, if it's any comfort now that Rob's back, I probably will never win again.
anyway.
You won the bet.
You did win the bet. You did win the bet. Okay,
Yes,
so here's how the game goes, guys. It is a game of Over Under. I'm going to say a scenario and give a number, and then our three contestants have to say whether they believe the real answer is over the number I gave or under the number I gave. Guys, when I say it's time to answer, I'll say, please answer the question in 3, 2, 1. Simply put out your hand, a thumbs up if you're saying over, a thumbs down if you're saying under. And then we're going to go through 7 questions. We'll see who's got the most points at the end, and then that person, whoever they're representing, gets the prize. All right. With that all down, let's get into our first question of the day, shall we? And our first question today is this. Question number 1. The number of Best Lead Actor nominations that Ryan Gosling has. The number of Best Lead Actor Oscar nominations that Ryan Gosling has. Over or under 1.5? Over or under 1.5? And we ask you guys for your answers in 3, 2, 1. Raise them up. Ray is saying under. Kim is saying over. Rob is saying over. The answer is over. The answer is over. Ryan Gosling was nominated for his leading roles in both La La Land and Half Nelson. And I'm going to need you guys to help me remember the score. So Kim and Rob both have 1. Ray is close behind. Close behind. Only
My
one
chair is getting lower and out of camera view.
He rolls away.
All right, let's get into our second question here. Our second question is this. Question number 2. The number of Martin Scorsese movies that Robert De Niro has been in. Over or under 8.5. The number of Martin Scorsese movies that Robert De Niro has been in. Over or under 8.5. And answers in 3, 2, 1. Ray is saying under, Kim is saying over, and Rob is saying under.
I'm not saying under. I'm just saying this whole thing is a thumbs down.
And the answer is over.
Oh.
Robert De Niro has been in 9 Martin Scorsese films, including New York, New York, Mean Streets, The Irishman, Goodfellas, Casino, Cape Fear, The King of Comedy, Taxi Driver, and Raging Bull. So Kim shoots into the lead. She's got 2 points.
I thought it was 8. I thought you were trying to get one on.
I almost got
All
you.
right.
Kim's got 2. Rob's got 1. Ray is still sitting on the goose egg at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm still here.
All right, let's move on to still 4 questions to go, or 5 questions to go.
Oh, fine.
Next up, we got question number 3. And the question is this. Number of movies Ezra Miller, who we were just talking about him in The Flash, number of movies that Ezra Miller has been in that were directed by Dear Evan Hansen director Stephen Chbosky. The number of movies Ezra Miller has been in that were directed by Dear Evan Hansen director Stephen Chbosky. Over or under 1.5? Over or under 1.5, the number of Stephen Chbosky movies that Ezra Miller has been in. And we will ask for your answers in 3, 2, 1. Raise them up. Ray, lower your hands so we can get it on camera. Okay, Ray is saying over, Kim is saying under, and Rob is saying under. And the answer is under.
Oh, wow.
Ezra's only Chbosky film was 2012's The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which, of course, speaking of Harry Potter, also starred Emma Watson.
Gotten every question wrong.
All right.
Right now, so Kim is sitting at 3 points. Rob is sitting at 2 points. Ray is still within striking distance.
It's about time you just don't even mention me anymore.
Ray is still in striking distance. You've won a couple of these things, dude. All right,
Don't
let's
give up.
let's keep going here. The next question here. Question number 4. The number of movie credits, speaking of which, the number of movie credits that Emma Watson has after her final Harry Potter movie. The number of movie credits that Emma Watson has after her final Harry Potter movie. Over or under 11.5? Over or under 11.5 Emma Watson movie credits after The Deathly Hallows Part 2. And the answer in 3, 2, 1, raise them up. Ray, lower your hand so we can see it on camera.
Oh, sorry.
Ray is saying under. Kim is saying under. Rob is saying under across the board. And they're all dumb. No, they're all right. Under. Emma Watson has currently 10 film credits after Deathly Hallows Part 2, including movies like Noah, Beauty and the Beast, and the ever-forgettable The Circle. All right. Score stays the same. Kim is still up 3-2 to 0.
To 1.
So you got, oh yeah, that's right. You
Come on, John.
4-3-1.
Yes.
That's right. You all got it right. Ray's on the
I'm about
scoreboard.
to clean house right now.
Ray is still within striking
About to
distance.
run the table.
All right. Let's move on to question number 5. 3 questions left. Question number 5 is this. There are currently 49 movies in the $1 billion club. How many of them are comic book movies? Over or under 15.5? There are currently 49 movies in the $1 billion club. How many of them are comic book movies? Over or under 15.5? And we're going for the answer in 3, 2, 1. Answers. Ray, lower your hand, please. There you go. Ray is saying under. Kim is saying under. Rob is also saying under. And the answer is under. There are only 14 comic book movies in the $1 billion club. The most money making out of all of them is Avengers Endgame. The least that's just in the $1 billion club by a bit is maybe the best comic book movie ever, according to some people, The Dark Knight. All right. 2 questions left. Kim is still up by 1. Rob's got to make his move. Oops, I did something wrong here. There we go. Rob's got to make his move, so here we go. Question number 6. Number of films the late Chadwick Boseman, we were just talking about Black Panther, number of films that the late Chadwick Boseman appeared in after the release of Black Panther in 2018. The number of films the late Chadwick Boseman appeared in after the release of Black Panther in 2018. Over or under 4.5? Over or under 4.5 movies he appeared in after the release of Black Panther. And the answers in 3, 2, 1. Raise them up. Ray is saying over. Kim is saying under. And Rob is saying over. And the answer is over. I almost said Patrick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman went on to appear in 5 films after Black Panther released, including Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, 21 Bridges, To 5 Bloods, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, for which he received an Academy Award nomination. All right. That gives Ray, 3 points
2.
now? 2? Is that your second? Okay, 2. And it means Kim and Rob are tied
Oh my God.
at this moment, going into the final question.
Tied at what?
Uh-oh.
Why am I
What do you got
afraid?
tied at?
Tied at
Why
4.
am I
Oh.
afraid? I'm afraid right now. There's
right.
fear in this.
No, this is
body.
good. This is what we got. We got a good
Yeah.
Oh my
Here we
God.
are.
Drama.
Final question
Jordan.
now.
I hope I don't let him down.
Speaking a little bit of Will Arnett, we were speaking of a little bit earlier in the show. Question number 7. How much did Will Arnett's 2017 film, The Lego Batman Movie, which is awesome,
Freaking awesome.
the Lego Batman Movie, earn at the worldwide box office? How much did Will Arnett's 2017 film, The Lego Batman Movie, earn at the worldwide box office? Over or under $341 million. $341 million. Over or under that. And answers in 3, 2, 1. Raise them up. Ray is saying under. Kim is saying over. Rob is saying under. And your winner is Robert Meyer Burnett. The answer is under. The Batman movie only made $312 million. Ray only finished 1 point behind Kim.
Yeah, I know.
In this one, actually, you actually caught up there.
That's why we're going with surprise. 3 more questions.
The only reason that I knew the answer to that is because it's always surprised me how little that movie made domestically.
Oh, absolutely.
Compared to the original Lego movie. Because I would have thought it, every time I look at that, I'm like, it should have made a lot more than that, but it didn't compared to how much the Lego movie made.
Yeah, because the Lego movie made like around the mid 400 million
mark. It was much more successful.
And I would have thought the Batman movie, following up on how much everybody loved the Lego movie, everybody would have rushed to see. And it's awesome.
The Lego Batman movie is so good.
So good.
So good.
And yet it made.
Do you blame that on Batman?
No.
Do you blame it on that Batman part?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what, but every Lego movie after that declined in box office. So it's like everybody kind of, even the second Lego movie.
And I really liked the second Lego movie.
I didn't like it nearly as much. I didn't like it nearly as much personally. But
had a
again,
cool spaceship in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of Over Under in his debut appearance by 1 point,
all right.
Robert Meyer Burnett, which means our viewer, who was Robert representing?
You know, it's not about whether we win or lose. It's about how our viewers win.
That's right. And Jordan Hernandez. Our viewer, Jordan Hernandez, won. Congratulations, Jordan. You are going to be receiving an autographed Joker pop that will be sent out to you here pretty soon. So thank you for participating, and you'll be getting that soon. All right, guys. With all that down and out of the way, it's been a long show. But we're now going to move over and start taking your live comments and questions you guys have been firing in. So we're going to get through these as fast as we can. So, Kim, what do we have going on here?
All right, this comes from Stefan Dalent Waters. My 10 most anticipated: Avatar 2, Across the Spider-Verse, The Batman, Knives Out 2, MI7, The Northman,
Nice.
Nope, Bullet Train, Babylon, and Strange World.
I will say this. The only reason Nope didn't end up on my list was because I wasn't thrilled with the last Peel one, the one with the family, Lupita Nyong'o. Us. I did not love Us.
Which I call Hands Across America.
Yes, Hands Across. I didn't love it. Okay,
By the way, can I just say I completely forgot what should have been my number one movie on my most anticipated movies of the year.
What's that?
That Elizabeth said, how can you not mention it? Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the director of Amélie, his science fiction film Big Bug, that drops on Netflix. It like came out of the blue. They dropped this trailer.
I wasn't even familiar with it.
I had never heard of this movie at all. And Amélie
You got
is
my
one of my
attention when you
favorite
said
films.
director of Amélie.
The director of Amélie. It's called Big Bug, and it's about a robot uprising at an idyllic community where the robots like protect all the humans from the rest of the robots.
Oh, I did see the trailer for this.
Ooh.
Okay. Interesting.
I can't believe I didn't put that in. Sorry.
All right. What's next?
A. Marcellus says, this will probably never happen, but I would find it hilarious if the WB is using this movie to get rid of Ezra Miller as well. Hey, Ezra, your first solo movie is also rebooting your character. Bye.
Yeah, no. Listen, Warner, look, one of the things that has turned me off a little, even though I got The Flash on my most anticipated list, but one of the things that has dampened my enthusiasm, I'm not saying it's going to dampen how good the movie is, but dampen my enthusiasm a little bit, is it's still a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth the way Warner Brothers handled that whole situation with Ezra Miller. And I like Ezra Miller as Flash, but that has left a little bit of a sour taste. But I mean, between this movie and the new Harry Potter Fantastic Beasts movie, they've got a lot invested in them right now. All right, what's next?
Atreyu Oren says, The Rock saying he's not in Fast 10 sounds like...
That's fine. Yeah,
Andrew
it's fine.
Garfield saying he's not in Spider-Man No Way Home. Media is forever changed.
Yeah, this is different. I mean, this is not... This has gone beyond a typical WWE kind of work. I mean, this is clearly very personal, and this is clearly very that. So, I mean, I get where you're coming from, Atreyu, but no, I think this is a very, very different situation, unfortunately. All right, what's next?
Irfan Dagman says, Robert Meyer Burnett is back.
Is he? I didn't notice. Oh, there he is.
You know, I just showed up one day.
Robert's back.
I got
All right.
snapped back into this crazy.
By the way, in case I
place.
forget to say it a little bit later, I have had so much fun already on today's show, just with everybody in the
This
same.
has been a lot of fun.
This has been great. All right. Hopefully you guys have been liking it too. All right. What's next?
Cydia Swift says, The Kingsman was fun. Licorice Pizza was beautiful, but could have been shorter for me. Hoping to see the 355 and the Tragedy of Macbeth this week.
Tragedy Macbeth.
I can't wait
is
to see that.
Phenomenal.
I can't wait.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Listen, because of the cast of 355, I'm I'm excited about the cast. I'm not going to lie. I don't have high expectations.
It's Simon Kinberg coming off of X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, which was his very first movie that he ever directed.
Right.
So hopefully he's learned a lot, but
you know what? Hot chicks that are secret agents, assassins.
And some of the most talented women in the world.
Yeah,
I mean this cast is no joke.
It's a great cast.
Yeah, like world-class talent.
I want to see them kill a bunch of people. I'm in.
Let's see. I hope it's good, man. I really hope it's good. All right, what's next?
A. Marcellus says the return of Rob has broken the internet more than Spider-Man.
It's Rob Watch.
Rob Watch.
Rob Watch 2021.
Do you see him? He's over there.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, what's
Sidious Swift says, Rob! Glad you're back, man.
We're glad he's back too. All right, what's next?
Andy says, WB erasing DECU with Flash involvement could be nothing new if it's true. After all, they've managed to erase Ezra's choking incident from our reality. So there's that.
Okay, all right, that was pretty good. I thought he was going to say what I was saying, which is it's nothing new. Comic books have done it all the time. Now they made us forget the joking of the. Well said, Andy. All right, what's next?
Cincinnati's 5-star barber says,
Hey, by the way, big win for the Bengals yesterday, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. This and Burrow threw for over 400 yards. Look at that. Over 400 yards. He's thrown over 900 yards, almost 1,000 yards in his last 2 games combined.
But all I have to say is 2 words right now.
What's that?
Fool's gold, baby.
Ray is the biggest Cincinnati Bengals fan, and he always refuses to believe they're going to do anything good.
They have to get past the first round, and then I'll start dusting off the jersey. But if you can't get past the first round, why bring me on that roller coaster?
Yeah.
You know, why bring me all the way to the top?
It's baby steps.
When
Baby
the ride
steps.
breaks down at the top.
Sorry, we didn't actually get to Cincinnati's 5-star Bengals question.
you guys are hilarious. Oh, God. He says, hey, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, great to see you all together. Okay, guys, with that out of the way, Hoo-day, AFC North champs.
I mean, hey, big congrats to Cincinnati Bengals. It's awesome to look when they drafted Joe Burrow. I mean, the excitement was palatable. Obviously, then he had the injury. This kid he's only getting better and better and better. Now he's tearing it up, and this team's gotten better, and so let's see where they go. All right, what's next?
Mr. Graham 91 says, I swear Warner Brothers has the most drama with their movies more than any other studios.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's true.
It is.
I mean, they've had, I really can't think. Now, you could say right now, I mean, Disney's got some going on with the Armie Hammer stuff and whatever, but you're actually talking your own, like, business model stuff and your own inner workings is just not, we're not talking about outside actors, whatever, bringing embarrassment to your company. We're talking about, like, just, anyway, every time it feels like they're turning things around, and who knows, maybe this Flash thing, maybe it's real, which I still doubt it's real. But if it's real, maybe this is going to be the best thing they've ever done. Maybe this will be the smartest movie they've ever
Also,
made.
the merger with Discovery. I mean, their executive
Dude, I'm
turmoil.
so excited about that.
It's been going on for a while. I think they're going to finally solidify their position, and they're going to have people that really, they're going to put that studio back on track.
I've said this before, but you and I've talked about this a lot. I believe this is the most exciting development at Warner Brothers in over a decade.
I agree.
Discovery taking them over. I think there's going to be some really good times ahead. All right, what's next?
Cincinnati's 5-star barber says, DC News makes me so angry, disappointed, and sad. Ray, I have a 2021 AFC North Champs hat for you. So inbox my IG. We can set it up.
Ray's excited.
I won today. Rob may have won the game.
But Ray is the winner.
I won that
Jordan
live,
won the
baby.
game.
All right, what's next?
Andy says, if the DCEU erasure in the Flash film is true, it won't matter at all when WB drowns out the news by announcing golden boots.
Still the number one thing ever done at DC fandom. Don't worry, everybody. There's golden boots.
What's the story behind that?
Okay,
It's
so-
always mentioned, and I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So here's the thing. So DC, first of all, the first DC fandom last year was fantastic. And so all of us were all excited about this new DC fandom, which they should have retitled it Cam Newton's Hats Dome. That's what it should have been, because they spent more time talking about Cam Newton's hats than they did about almost any other project. But then they had this breaking news segment, right? Breaking news.
They really did it in that style, breaking news?
Yeah, breaking news.
Okay.
First images of Barry in the CW's Flash show wearing gold-colored boots. Woo! Stop the presses, everybody.
Not even for the Flash movie, it was for the show.
It was for the show. It was almost as important as Paul Feig. I don't know if you saw this, Rob, but Paul Feig complaining about Ghostbusters not being in thing.
Oh,
and
I
his,
saw it.
And his big argument was, our movie won the damn Kids' Choice Awards that year. It's like, gold.
But wait, put it in context though. Is the story important to Flash wearing golden boots at all?
No.
Okay,
it's just
well,
golden boots.
yeah, stop talking.
All right, what's next?
Cincinnati's 5-star barber says, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett, miss you on the show, and I'm writing a letter to Robservations very soon, as I love your channel as well.
It's good to have Rob here, and Rob's,
Thank you very much.
And again, it's been years since we've been able to be in the same room to do a show.
I mean, well, it's funny because I think about it like it really has been years. That is not hyperbole.
No, ever since the pandemic
I
started.
think since 2019. Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it'd be
so
March.
very early 2020.
Yeah. That's really crazy.
It's all right. What's next?
Cincinnati's 5-star barber says, also, John, I finally brought my first 12-pack of Zevia Cola. Thank you for reminding me of the taste of tonic water. LOL. Nah, it's not that bad.
Zevia Cola.
I've become addicted. And
Ron
not
has.
just to
You become
cola.
yep.
Their creamy root beer, their version of Dr. Pepper, their black cherry.
Sevilla has more than that.
Oh
flavor?
yeah, they have tons of flavors.
No way.
Man,
you
they
gotta try
got ginger ale, they got cream soda, and what's crazy about it, it's all the same color.
And it's all double the price of regular soda.
It is so expensive.
All right, next up.
Yash Rajput says, Commander Campea, execute Order 66.
Everybody suddenly dies. All right, what's next?
Martindale McLeamont. Yes, it's crazy to me that Cavill wants to continue the role and WB gives him the finger by introducing Supergirl before letting this dude have a sequel.
Okay, look, I'm serious. You're not going to find a bigger fan of Henry Cavill than me. You're not going to find a bigger fan of Henry Cavill than me. I'm a bigger fan of Henry Cavill than you. But actor wants to do the role. That doesn't make any fucking difference in the world. No studio gives a shit. It's not the actor playing a role does not dictate what movies should get made and what movies shouldn't get made. And a studio making a decision, and listen, you know what I want? I want more Henry Cavill Superman. Everybody
what you really,
knows
really
this.
want?
I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. There's nothing I would like more other than a Steven Spielberg directed Star Wars movie. But other than that, there is nothing I want more than another Henry Cavill thing. Mm. But no studio would give a shit what the actor wants to do. You make your decisions based on what you think is best for your properties. And them making a decision based on what they think is best for their properties is not an insult to an actor who had played a role. It's not. And I say this as the world's biggest Henry Cavill fan. It's not. That is not a middle finger to Henry Cavill. That is not. They looked at their properties, say, look, these have not performed the way we want them to perform, and we need to make a change in direction. It's really that simple. And I say that, Martindale, as a fellow lover of the Big H. I mean, I got a massive bro crush on Henry Cavill. Like, it's just total, but I mean, it is what it is. All right, what's next?
Andy says MGM should make a James Bond movie where he fights mafia in New York. Call it Bro Time to Die.
So Rob is probably oblivious to this.
I am oblivious.
So it all came from the tracksuit mafia. So everything is bro. Classic bro.
That's right out of the comics, though, just so you guys know.
And Rob, Ray made a very important point the other day. When we announced the other day that you were coming back, Ray was like, of course you all know that rearranged the letters in Rob's name, and it spells bro. So it's like, it's time. All right, what's next?
Planet Culture says, saw Licorice Pizza, and it was a good movie, but I'm conflicted. I was creeped out watching a relationship between a 15-year-old and a 25-year-old. That's statutory rape in these days. LOL. Also, I could have done without the racist Asian jokes. I'm also Asian, so it was a little offensive to me.
I'm not gonna get into that stuff at all. What are characters saying and doing? And remember, these are characters in a movie. And so obviously I am not Asian. So, I mean, I'm married into an Asian family, but that doesn't mean I'm Asian. I'm very Italian and very white. So whatever. But I will say this about Licorice Pizza. is I liked it. I thought the performances were insanely good. Like Bradley Cooper as Peters. Like when I first saw the trailers for it, I thought this looks a little bit way too over the top. But then once you start watching, like, no, man, this totally works. But I think I ended up liking the performances more than I did the movie overall. I still liked it a lot. But hey, that's kind of my...
But, you know, I think, though, that that movie takes place almost 50 years ago.
Yes.
And I think the reason that Paul Thomas Anderson was including those attitudes is to show how they've changed. You know, how things have changed now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't go back and make a period piece where you're trying to be authentic from the clothes to the record store licorice pizza, all that stuff, and then play it like it's happening today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be disingenuous. That would be like making a movie about the Jim Crow South and taking away all the signs that said colored white for drinking fountains. You could, well, that's offensive to me. Well, it's set, you know, in
all right.
time.
What's next?
John Redcorn says, do you know if Rise of the Skywalker ever got a Kids' Choice Award? if it did, that award show has officially lost all credibility.
Because it had all the credibility already. It had already had all the credibility.
Whoever wrote that, touche.
Touche, indeed. Well said, John Redcorn. All right, what's next?
Andy says, went through my expenses for 2021 and calculated that I have spent $703 on your show.
Oh my God.
Totally worth it. Thanks for all you do, John.
Oh, dude. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for that. That is amazing support. So thank you so much. I hope some of that was on some merch.
And I hope he has my Venmo.
And here's looking forward to 2022. All right, what's next? Thank you again, Andy. Thank you for supporting us on that level, dude.
If you have your own LLC, it's a tax write-off.
There you go.
Mr. Hank Dunn says, Mission Impossible is my most anticipated.
And what is there not to be excited about? I think it's going to
two.
be awesome.
Dino Vader says, nice to have Rob back, the voice of reason.
I wouldn't go that far. Madness, maybe.
It takes its toll. We're going swimming on Pandora, you and I.
The multi-voice of madness.
Multi-voice of
Voice of
madness.
madness.
All right, what's next?
My Comic Planet says, watching Harry Potter special was truly a gift for fans.
Yeah.
Was surprised I got so emotional. Seeing the moment with Emmy and Rupert, I started crying.
Yeah, like them talking just about that they were their family, and they've like you got to remember, like they were literally children.
Yeah.
And seeing, first of all, young Emma Watson. My name is Emma Watson, and I am playing the role of Hermione Granger.
No pressure.
First of all, not only that, but she was a fucking pro from the age of 6.
Yeah.
Like when you saw how she conducted herself with media and everything like that, she was a pro. Meanwhile, Rupert and Daniel are like, I'm in a movie. Of course they're children, right? But we got to watch them grow up, and then seeing these 3 adults, one of them has kids of their own now, sitting around chatting. And it's like, it's weird, but Rupert like comes across to me as the dude like with the most level head on his shoulders. Like, hey, yeah, I've had all this. He's going to be rich his entire life. He's going to be making residuals on these movies for his entire life. But he was like so level headed, and that conversation between him and Emma was magical. It was really great.
And you know what I have to say about the special? They all came out well-rounded because unfortunately,
Yes.
how often have we seen child stars kind of go south? And she took time off to go to college.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, no, education. I know I could make millions, but education. Smart girl. They all seem very level-headed.
Yeah.
Good for them and good for their parents.
Maybe that's, I don't know.
Good
Is
for
there
them.
commentary in there about the difference between how things are raised like in the UK as opposed to the US? Because how many times have we seen the US like child actors grow up to like completely effed up?
Yep.
All right. What's next?
Martin Tell McLemont says, I effing missed you, Rob. Welcome back, boss man.
Welcome back indeed, Rob.
Man.
All right, what's next?
My Comic Planet says Yellowstone finale was great, but I do wonder if Beth is too much of a villain that she dominates everyone else. It's like she was Tony Soprano.
I haven't watched the newest episode. I haven't watched the season finale of Yellowstone yet, but Beth Dutton is one of the best characters. Both Beth and Rip. Hell, both Beth and Rip and John, they're all like the greatest characters on television. It is crazy how good that show is. All right, what's next?
Sean Nicholson says all theaters here in Ontario are closing as of Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. for at least 3 weeks. Guess I'm not seeing Scream or Morbius anytime soon.
You know, one of the things I've said I've been very worried about, like I'm super excited for Morbius. Obviously, I've got it on my list. But I wonder if it's not a harbinger of things to come. Like, things can change drastically for the better overnight. They can. And so, but, Canada, particularly Ontario's a little more strict on this stuff. That's why they've kept their numbers better than most places have. But let's see what happens. I hope it's very effective for them, and I hope they get those theaters open really soon. All right, what's next?
Aaron D. Green says, weird hearing y'all at 1 times speed. Usually listen at 3.5 speed on Spotify. I'm not super worried about the DCEU, and I'm still excited for Black Adam.
I'm still excited for Black Adam. I don't care. And you know what? Rob, you were mentioning a bunch of the projects, right? I am still excited for what DC has coming up. Like Aquaman 2, I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
The Flash, look, this thing could go wrong in so many ways, but it's also got a lot of potential upside to it, right? So I think there's a lot of stuff. Black Adam is there. I mean, and you know how much I love Shazam. I think there's a lot to be excited about. Whether or not it works out, I'll have to wait. Where is your? By the way, I didn't ask. What's your excitement level right now for Black Adam?
Well, look. I think it's perfect casting. It depends. For me, it really depends on the tone of the movie. I think it's going to be a hard tone to get right. I thought Shazam, my big problem with that was the tone of the film was kind of all over the place. I did love the introduction of the whole Marvel family because I always loved that when I was a kid. But Black Adam looks pretty badass. Yeah, and I think that Dwayne Johnson knows this could be a signature role for him because I don't think Dwayne Johnson, I mean, the Fast and the Furious role, Hobbs was a great role for him. But he's been in so many different movies. This could be his signature role.
It really could.
It's great.
Yep, I completely agree. All right, what's next?
Maria Espino says, John, which of the upcoming new shows from Star Wars are you most interested in seeing? Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, Ashoka, or The Acolyte, and why?
Acolyte. That's the one I've been most, from the moment, first of all, the whole idea of looking at it from the dark side, I think is really interesting to me. You've got a fascinating storyteller running the show. I mean, look, all of them have their pros. Obi-Wan, obviously excited about.
Can't wait.
Andor, I think, looking at the rebellion from where the hands get dirty side, which I think they touched on a little bit in Rogue One with Andor. It's like, hey, you can't have a rebellion without somebody doing the dirty work and doing some really morally questionable things. That's interesting. I've always hated the Ahsoka Tano character until I saw her in Mandalorian season 2, and now I'm like, okay, I'm on board with this, but it's The Acolyte. Rob, which one of these are you most excited about?
Well, I can't lie. I mean, it's the Obi-Wan show for me, the fact that they brought back Ben Kenobi with Ewan McGregor. But my problem is this, and I can only go by the first episode of Book of Boba Fett. You can't make these shows and take away what's actually going on in them. I don't want to see, the Star Wars movies were not movies that shied away from the fact that they blew up Alderaan and killed billions of people. And these are tough shows. This is about a rebellion and a war. And I hope they don't sanitize this because it's a Disney show.
Yeah, you and I haven't talked about Mandalorian or Boba Fett episode 1. I was kind of let down by it. I still think there's a lot of potential there. I
do too. I saw it as a preface. Like you're reading a book. It's kind of the preface to get you up to speed. But I had a problem with the direction. I thought Robert Rodriguez, who I really normally like, he's done some great episodes of Mandalorian. I thought the action scenes and the editing were pretty lackluster.
Very clunky.
You don't
we talked
Steven
about
Seagal,
that.
Martial arts?
You don't like the Steven Seagal, like the Steven Seagal, the latter years fight choreography?
Well, I was really sort of disappointed in all that.
Yeah.
How about the digging in the sand for 20 minutes? We're digging for
You
these
weren't
water
riveted?
gourds.
You didn't like little Tusken Raider
Little
Munster,
Lord
Eddie
Fauntleroy
Munster
Tusken? No,
in there? You didn't
no.
like that?
My favorite thing in the entire episode was when the leader of the Sand People just didn't even just reach the gourd out.
That was a good scene.
That was my favorite moment because it was adult, it was interesting, and it showed all you needed to know was that the leader of the Sand People respected Boba Fett. That's it.
Seeing Flashdance there was pretty good too. I like seeing that. All right, what's next?
Jennifer Beals rules.
Peter DeLuca says, what is it going to take for DC to finally make strides in catching up with Marvel in terms of its films? Welcome back, Rob. Missed you.
Look, everybody's looking for some kind of magic formula, right? Everybody's looking for the formula. What's the formula they have to? It's not formula. Make great movies. Period. You make a great movie. Look what happened when the first Wonder Woman came out. Everybody forgets that before that first Wonder Woman movie came out, the outlook on DC was shit. Like everybody was like, This whole thing sucks. Nobody's excited for it. Blah, 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 blah. Wonder Woman comes out. All of a sudden, super excitement, hope for the future, all that kind of stuff. All it takes. It is one of the most difficult things in the world, but it's no more complicated than make great individual movies. If you make great individual movies, nobody will give a crap if it's tied to a bigger cinematic universe or not. Nobody will care if it's got the right continuity with the films that came before it. Nobody will care. Because look, when you go back to the highlight of the X-Men, when the X-Men was doing great, because they've had some bad films, but when the X-Men is doing great, like when X-Men Days of Future Past came out, it was not in continuity with a lot of the other X-Men stuff. Nobody cared though, because the movie was great. What did I say? Winning cures everything. You put out a couple of successive movies in a row that the audience and the critics and the box office respond to well, that's all it takes. You get that going, you got momentum. Because I'll tell you right now, I think Marvel's losing momentum right now. I'm still super excited about Marvel and the MCU where it is, but honestly, right now, I feel like they're losing a little bit of momentum. That can turn around instantly. I mean, obviously, look at Spider-Man No Way Home. That's changed the direction of momentum already, but we'll see where it goes. All right, what's next?
CD Playa says, glad to see you back, Rob.
It's great to have Rob in the room with us. Paul, what's next?
Paul Martinez sends in a super chat. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Paul.
Silver Surfroy says, 2021 movie recap. Best, Quiet Place 2. Worst, Matrix Resurrections. Most pleasant surprise, Nobody. Most disappointing, Snake Eyes.
Ooh, yeah, I gotta say, I think Snake Eyes might be it. I think somebody asked me what my most disappointed movie was. I think I might have said something else. Snake Eyes might be it, though, because I was totally stoked for that. And I will say Mitchell's versus the Machines is still my most pleasant surprise, because I had no expectations for that. But I got to agree with Nobody's got to be right up there. It just looked like a little, even though it was the same people, John Wick kind of rip off, just you're throwing in a popular guy like Bob Odenkirk. I love that movie. Rob, I never got a chance to ask you, what would you say is your most pleasant surprise, like the movie that surprised you the most pleasantly this year?
Probably Tick, Tick, Boom.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wait, Ray, what movie was that? What movie was that?
it?
Tick, tick, boom.
Tick, Tick, Boom was my most pleasant surprise. Also, a movie called Cop Shop. If you haven't seen Cop Shop, it's a lot of fun.
I had it on my 10 worst movies of the year list.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Time to fight.
I liked it.
Mortal Kombat.
Most disappointing, though, was Fast 9 for me.
Oh yeah, I mean that's right up there, because I still remember you and I went to go see that. We went to an early, like a month before it came out. We went to an early screening a month before it came out, and me, our buddy Cliff, and you were positively giddy. Like at dinner we were eating before seeing, you were so excited for it.
Wait, I hated that, and I hated Army of the Dead, which I was really looking forward to,
Right.
and I hated it.
All right, what's next?
Tim Platt says, when you get a chance, you should watch the Betty White bloopers from Hot in Cleveland on YouTube. Hilarious.
Okay, that does sound like something I should absolutely go watch. Thanks for putting that on our radar, Tim. All right, what's next?
Christopher Brickner says, you may not like the Dragon Ball franchise, but one thing you and Dragon Ball fans can agree on is that Dragon Ball Evolution film is terrible.
Yeah, it's funny because one of Anne's best friends in college, one of her sorority sister, Jamie Chung, was in that. So we were all excited and was so excited to watch that. And let us say, yeah, the movie didn't turn out so good. All right, what's next?
Crashing Coyote says, 3 most anticipated: Batman, Creed 3. Oh, Cocaine
I totally
Bear.
forgot about Cocaine Bear. Is that actually coming out in 2022?
Yes, it is.
It is coming out in 2022.
It's scheduled for it, but they don't have an exact date yet.
Okay, it's a to be determined kind of release date thing right now.
I forgot about
I
that.
totally forgot about Cocaine Bear as well. I am looking forward to that. All right, what's next?
Guillaume Labelle says, I watched The Last Duel 2 days ago and quite liked it. I wasn't a big fan of the whole 3 POV structure, but all performances were great.
I completely agree. I thought the film was good. I thought the performances were fantastic. And sometimes using that story kind of device of telling the same story from different points of view can work very effectively in some movies. I did not feel it was a good use of that in this movie. To me, it made the movie lose all momentum. So after we got past the first act, telling it from the Matt Damon point of view, I kind of felt like it just slowed right down, even though there was good stuff in the rest of it. Anyway, I like the movie overall, but I completely agree with your assessment there, Guillaume. All right, what's next?
John 19138 says, Westworld Season 3, thoughts and expectations.
Is it season 3 or season 4?
Season 4.
Yeah, I think it's season 4. That's what I was going to say. No plans on watching it. I tapped out of Westworld after season 2. Even though the trailer for season 3 looked great, I tapped out after season 2. I couldn't watch, so I'm not watching. You guys, either of you two, planning on watching Westworld?
Convoluted for me.
Yeah, I'm not really quite there. Rob?
No, I'm not. I mean, if the season 4 trailers blow me away, is it out yet? I don't think it's out yet.
I'm not sure.
I'll watch. I'll tune in. But if I
But hey, you know what? Season 1 was amazing. Season 1
I didn't think so.
Was for me. I thought it
amazing.
was amazing. I thought they did a great job. So I'm not crapping on it, but I just, yeah.
All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, I hope we get a Mortal Kombat sequel.
I don't agree with you, but I hope for you, Al. I hope they do one just so you can watch it and enjoy it, my friend. All right, what's next?
It's Mayel Montoya says, hey, John, good to see everyone. I'm watching all of Star Wars movies and shows from the past month. Completionist version. Are video games also canon?
No, when Lucasfilm was first acquired by Disney, they had this great sounding thing that I said from day one, it's never going to happen. They said, from now on, all books, comic books, video games, and movies are all complete canon. And I said I still remember the episode of AMC Movie Talk where I said, never going to happen. It's impossible to do it. You can't do it. And sure enough, after a very short period of time, you started to see cracks in it. And so no, video games don't count them as
Come on, man. Shadows of the Empire happened.
I mean,
Prince
one of the great stories.
Come on.
One of the great stories I've ever done. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, hi, John. I hope you cried like Anne during the Harry Potter reunion special.
I didn't, but I'll tell you what, I did feel quite emotional. They did a beautiful job with it, Al. All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, I've been seeing a social media post going around saying that to honor Betty White on her birthday, everyone should donate $5 to a local animal shelter.
I think that sounds like
she
a
was
great
a
idea.
champion for
her
animals.
And Bob Barker. When I think of celebrities that champion like the pets and stuff like that, her and Bob Barker, those are the ones that come to mind. All right, what's next?
Hugh Hefner too.
Oh yeah, Hugh Hefner did this well. That's
the
right.
Pets.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Red Hood says, as a big DC fan, I gladly keep supporting Marvel and Sony if Warner Brothers keeps messing up films.
I mean, look, Wonder Woman, the first one was great. I love Man of Steel. I love Shazam. I mean, I like Batman versus Superman. I like Justice League. Look, I often wonder what would our general impressions of Warner Brothers be if it wasn't for the fact that Marvel was there. Like, I'm not saying it would change, but I do wonder, Rob, if Marvel wasn't there crushing it, would we look at what DC has done a little bit differently? Because obviously it looks inferior next to Marvel. But if Marvel wasn't there, would we look at it and go, yeah, Warner Brothers is doing pretty good?
I don't think we would. Because, the thing that I have a problem with Warner Brothers is planning. Like, to me, the Black Adam movie and the new Shazam sequel should be very, very intertwined. They're both from the same source material. The characters, I mean, if you want to talk about Kingdom Come and those great comic books, and I think the big problem with Warner Brothers is they've always been chasing Marvel, but they have the one thing Marvel doesn't, which is a coordinated producing program. I mean, Marvel is both the producers and the studio, even though they're bought by Disney. Warner Brothers is all over the place. They think the executives at Warner Brothers are like, yes, we can oversee Suicide Squad. Sure, let's do that. And then they see Suicide Squad and they decide, nope, we're going to hire a trailer company to cut it and all that. And they don't have the leadership. That could change.
I was watching, surprise, watching an NFL game, one of the bad teams, and they put up a stat that showed this team has gone through 3 general managers and 4 head coaches in this number of years. And it wasn't a long period of time. You go back to Iron Man, all the way up to Spider-Man No Way Home. Marvel Studios has had one person in charge, Kevin Feige. Not everybody can have a Kevin Feige, but still, they've had one guy constantly in charge. There has been a continuity there. There has been stability in the leadership there. Since Man of Steel, there have been no fewer than 4 different sets of quote-unquote leadership trying to steer the ship of DC. It doesn't take rocket science. You don't have to be rocket science to figure this out, right? You're going to have so it feels like every 2 years, a brand new, now we're the church. Oh, now this guy's running things. Oh, now this team of people is running things.
And beyond that, John, you want to look at Kevin Feige as a head coach. He was an assistant coach at
Yes,
he
for
worked
many
on
years.
13 Marvel movies before the MCU.
Yes. He was experienced. He had worked with some of the greats. He was seasoned. Nobody knew his name, and that's fine. Whenever people say, "Oh, who should take over this?" Everyone wants to go for a famous name. Go out and get somebody like Kevin Feige was, a guy who had tons of experience, was in the background, learned from the best, and then was able to bring his vision to the forefront. Anyway, sorry. We got to keep going because we're really behind here. We only got a few minutes left. What's next?
Oliver Jamie says, I glanced, I saw Rob in Skype, then I looked away. Hold up, is that Rob in studio?
It is. He's
No, I'm not really
physically here. He's physically here in studio. Now, look, honestly, I can only have so many cameras hooked up to my machine at once. So you know what we really need? I need
big wide
camera
angle, bro.
that has a big wide angle. But the one thing I'm afraid of with that big wide angle is you'll see how much of a mess the studio is that's not in camera view. But yes, we do need a big wide angle to show all of us in this.
Be cool, though.
It would be cool. I gotta see if I can do it. Maybe like one of those PTZ cameras. What's the technology they use? What's the thing where you can connect wirelessly? Oh, guys in the live chat, help me out. The PTZ cameras work over it. It's called, and I cannot remember the name of the technology. It's killing me that I can't remember. Anyway, somebody will put it in the live chat.
It'd be a cool shot seeing all the lights and cameras.
It would be.
and
It would
stuff.
be a very cool shot. I gotta see if I can get that set up. All right, what's next?
Ahmad Ismail says, Rob, great to have you back. Hopefully Chef Pleasures has taken good care of you.
Oh, he made me coffee this morning.
He did.
Sure did.
Chef Pleasures caffeine me up.
And then the funny thing was I sat here with water
And I had Zev.
as he offered you coffee.
That's right, Ray.
But was-
Ray.
Dang, you're getting coffee all week now.
Oh,
whatever. It's cool. It's tap water. I'm good. After experiencing No Way Home, makes me wish we had, as a community, the same Super Bowl feel for the Batman.
I mean, yeah. Look, first of all, we might have to take a watch for the Batman because I got a feeling maybe people are more excited than I thought. By the way, I remembered. Nobody in the live chat got it. I remember. It's called NDI. That's the name of the technology. We used to use that with Skype. We used to use instead of actually plugging Skype, and we used NDI to do it. Great technology. I should get a PTZ camera that will do that. But yeah, I'm hoping Batman will be just as big. All right, what's next?
Brunch Club Production says, damn, Rob's back and looking like a snack.
There he is. He's looking good.
well,
Some salted potato
Looking
chips
sharp.
right there.
thank you.
All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt says, I haven't seen the Potter movie since the last one in 2011. I absolutely bawled like a baby. The In Memoriam really got me. I hope they make more.
I was shocked how many people who had worked on those shows, and granted, it's been 20 years since the first one, but still how many of those legends had died and passed away. Like that, it was really, really well done. So well done. All right, what's next?
Kevin Cow says, welcome back, Rob. Happy New Year, guys.
Thank you, Kevin, very much, and Happy New Year to you too, man.
Johnny Got Lost says, coincidentally, the same day you watch Licorice Pizza, Tom Waits came to the dispensary I work at. My coworker and I had to explain to me who he was. LOL, I haven't seen the movie. Hopefully he was good in it.
I mean, he's popped up in a bunch of really cool stuff.
Shortcuts. He's in Rumblefish from '83.
And a whole bunch more. All right,
Watch
what's next?
it. Watch
Norman Muir says, I just saw Cobra Kai season 4 and it was awesome. Did you guys see the new season? And what do you think of the seasons overall?
I don't watch Cobra Kai. I watched the first few episodes and tapped out. Although, Anne binged the first 8 episodes last night
Oh, wow.
while I was working on some stuff. And I came in
Of season 4, the first season.
of season 4.
Oh,
So I came in and like, it just reminded me why I don't watch the show.
oh.
Because I walk in and Daniel is talking to the one kid, I believe he's Johnny's son, right? Now, when the show started, Miguel was this good kid who kind of got onto the wrong path. And Johnny's son was this kid from the wrong side of the tracks, but now he's on the good side, right? So then that's what I remember from season 1. Then I walk in to watch Anne watching the show, and now Johnny's kid is on the bad side of the tracks, and Miguel is on the good side of the tracks. It's like, so this is just freaking a Spanish novella
It's
show?
a really awesome after-school special. Okay, give it its
It's an
due.
after-school
Give it its flowers. It's the best
That's
after-school
exactly what it
special.
is. It's an
and that's
after-school
why I
special.
watch it. I'm just waiting for the more you know at the end of it.
I can't remember. Are you watching Cobra Kai?
I have only watched some of it. I have not watched any of the 4th season. But you know what? I think it's the way to do a reboot of that material. You know, I think that the people they have involved really, and the fact that they've interwoven all of the different, you know, where's Hilary Swank? Is she in the fourth season?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I didn't see her there. Yeah.
Okay,
I
I was
haven't
gonna.
watched it. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
But it's one of those shows that everybody loves. And I tried. I tried it. I'm not shit talking. I tried it. It's not for me. But I'm glad my wife loves it. And
I freaking love it.
She's like, she got through the 8 episodes yesterday. All right, what's next?
DJ says, I miss Starship Troopers.
I still remember going to watch that movie for the first time. I'll tell you a little story about me going to see it for the first time. I was at a church, like one of the big national denominations. I was at a big major church senior executive leadership retreat in the States. And I think we were in Pennsylvania. And me and my buddy Bruxy, who's like the minister of the largest church in Canada, who is a pacifist, but the biggest fan in the world of really violent action movies, like super, super huge, massive movie fan in particular. And in his words, you know, when I ask him, but you're a pacifist. Yeah, but pacifism makes for really boring movies. That's Bruxy's kind of take on it. So me and Bruxy are with the bishop, like of the entire eastern part of Canada and the US, the bishop overseer of like 100 different churches and whatever. And Bruxy and I are like, this new Starship Troopers movie is out. This looks like fun.
Oh, no.
Hey, Bishop, why don't you come with us? And we'll go watch Starship. I'm telling you, it's a true story. So me and Bruxy,
Oh my God.
we said, come on with us, Bishop. Come and watch this movie. And then we just think it's going to be this fun, like kind of video game action thing. And the amount of gore and the titties and the sex and all that kind of stuff. And me and Bruxy are sitting there like 7-year-old children, like totally loving it, but just trying to hide our reaction.
Wow.
We're also completely feeling awkward that we brought the bishop with us. So after the movie, the bishop was very nice. He was just like, well, that was interesting.
Oh my God.
Me and Bruxy are like, God, we love this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. What's next?
Gauliano Molina says, hi, John and Super Friends. Oh, I like that. 7 years ago, I asked an AMC how to fix Spider-Man with Garfield and Tobey. Finally, I can say I told you so. I'm a big fan from a long time, and it was a long wait for me.
I mean, that was something that was a fantasy pick for a lot of people for a lot of years. So anyway, I'm glad a lot of people got to see it, and they did it very well. All right, what's next?
Tim Platt says, I was listening to Slugfest. Thank you for recommending it, John. Before work this morning, and what was one of the things they were talking about? Verisimilitude.
That's
Welcome
right.
back,
All
Viceroy.
Right. Yeah.
You read Slugfest, yes?
No.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That was Gary I was talking to about that. But you know about it, right?
Yes.
You would love that book. Like, I get it on Audible or something.
I you know what? It's one of those things I've been meaning to read, and I always forget to get it. I'll go buy it today.
It's honestly like, because as I'm listening to it, like all I could think about is this is the type of stuff Rob would just like eat up listening to.
I mean, I've always wanted to read that. I mean, I've read so many different accounts of that time.
Oh
so
yeah,
I'd love
it's so well done. It is so well done. All right, what's next?
Mickey Bell says, Harry Potter special was wonderful. Absolutely want another entry with those actors. Wonder if the numbers of the special did will decide that.
I don't, honestly, Rob alluded to this earlier too. I don't think it's about whether or not the numbers will kind of dictate whether they do another special. I don't think there's any point in another special. I think it might dictate whether or not they get that cast back together and do another movie. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Rhett Proctor says, well, I'm still excited for the Flash movie. Seeing Michael Keaton again as Batman is great, but I'm sad that we may never see Henry Cavill as Superman and Ben Affleck as Batman ever again.
I mean, but to half of that, we weren't ever going to see Ben Affleck as Batman again anyway. Like, he was coming back kind of as a proper goodbye, but we all know he had walked from being Batman. We all knew he wasn't going to be Batman again anyway. The Henry Cavill part is the part I've been holding on to. And by the way, do not take this report as gospel. We very well could see more Henry Cavill as Superman. We don't know that that's true, but if it is true, I will just forever adore and be grateful for the Henry Cavill Superman that we have. He's my all-time favorite Superman, and we'll see where things go.
I got one for you.
Okay, hit me.
Over or under, we see Ben Affleck as Daredevil in Multiverse of Madness.
Give me your percentage.
50%.
Holy cow.
I'm going to go, I'll go under. I don't think so. But man, I was telling you what, Ben Affleck popping up as Daredevil in No Way Home would have been awesome. I mean, you had Foggy sitting there with Jon Favreau. Remember, he was Foggy.
I could see Favreau making the call.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, because it is a multiverse of madness. So to see them together and maybe even throw in a little Jennifer Garner, they're co-parenting.
Oh my God.
I mean, just to see, I think if the rumors are true that they've added more cameos than they expected to add for Multiverse of Madness because they saw how good it was going to go, I'm going to go above. I
would like it, but I'm going to take the under on that. I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to go over.
All right, let's just do a couple more here. What's next?
Internship Movie 2013 says, Owen's best line, hey, Google, are you feeling lucky?
I don't know what we're talking about.
The movie, The Internship.
I was going to say, is that the one to do with Vince Vaughn, The Internship? Is that what they're... Oh, it got you saying it. Got you to trigger my Google there.
Oh.
Okay, Google. Stop. Yep, got it triggered.
Dude, you made me trigger the Google.
All right, what's next?
So sorry. Al Renshaw says, I'm ready for the Seahawks to trade Wilson.
It's that, look, Coach Carroll and Wilson have had one of the most successful coach quarterback careers in the history of the NFL. But they do need it. That formula is now done. They need to mix it up. So
come on, man! Did you see that game against Detroit?
Yeah, but
Wilson's got a couple more years. He had his hand injury.
No, he definitely has a few more years. But I think Seattle needs to rebuild, and I think Wilson probably wants to win now. I don't think they're going to win anymore moving forward the way things are. I think if he moves on, he can have success. And I think with what they'll get back for him, I think they can restructure that team and they can get back into the playoffs again, probably within the next year or two. But I don't know. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Dr. Nova says, oh, great. Thank you for being a friend. You guys, don't leave me hanging. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is
that from
true.
Knight Rider?
You're a pal and a confidant. It's Golden Girls.
I know. I'm kidding. Thank you. That's the only line I know is thank you for being a friend. That's the only line that I knew. We will miss Betty White. All right, what's next?
Cydia Swift says, my top 3 of 21. Wrath of Man, an exciting symphony of a movie.
I did too.
Yes, whose crescendo was so good. 2, Dune, checked every box of an immersive movie experience for me. And 3, No Way Home, emotional and fun.
That, Rob, we were talking the other day about how putting these lists together, because we're still recovering from the crap that was 2020 and everything that happened. You forget how good of a year it was in movies this year. The 2021, I should say.
There was a lot of great stuff.
There was a lot of great stuff. And everybody's sending in their list. You just realize the diversity of it and how much good stuff there was. And I'm so glad you brought up Wrath of Man. I forgot about that one.
That was good. Scott Eastwood and
we saw Gentleman. Also, Guy Ritchie is on this role. His new movie that he has coming out.
Wait a minute, was Gentleman 2020 or 2021?
I want to say it was 2020.
It was 2020. Yeah.
So it's 2020.
Well, I want to put out of my list
2021, and he's got a new one coming out as well. So he's been killing it.
With Aubrey Plaza. She was an interesting ad, but I'm like, okay.
I know, right? Okay. That trailer's. I'm like, I'll watch this. He's having fun.
God, I'll tell you what. I still remember The Gentleman. Gentleman's so good, and so many people haven't seen it. Watch The Gentleman if you haven't. It's absolutely awesome. Okay, two more questions, and we'll call it a day. What's next?
Jacob Hirsch says, love seeing the gang back together. Aaron next.
Yes, Aaron will be here soon.
John, would you ever consider reformatting the show to have one large table like the AMC days?
Where? Where am I going to do that? Also, there's a big logistical problem. Now, you cannot see it right now because of the way. Let me see if I can get this in here. I don't think I'll be able to. Let me see if I can. Because I'm going to show you guys part of the problem here that we have. And let me see if I can add this as a video source. Webby. I don't know if I can or not, but I'll try. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. Like, you look at the cockpit here, right? Like this, I'm surrounded. I am totally, completely surrounded in a massive cockpit here. So I can't sit at a table with other people and being surrounded by all this. Like, everybody forgets. Like, when I was at AMC and Claire, stuff like that, we had other staff that did the video switching
Yeah.
and monitor the audio and all that kind of stuff. I do not have that kind of money. Like every dollar that comes into the John Campea Show, and that's why we have sponsors and stuff like that, I put right back into the show, whether it's by equipment, cast, staff, whatever. I put all that money right back into the show. But if for us to go back to a situation where I get to, first of all, God, I would love to do a show where I'm not also having to worry about running it and doing all the video switching and graphics exchanges and audio levels and all that. I would love to just be able to focus on doing the show. But that will require two things. One, it will require us actually getting studio space. That is not my converted garage. Number two, it will require me having enough finances to hire another dedicated person to running what I do here.
Right.
And so I would, sure, I could picture doing something like that, but that is still, $300,000 away.
We could always set it up so we're just sitting behind you, all three of us. So you're like the
You're
like the bus driver. You're like the bus driver.
Like, hey, what are you doing back there? Cut that
We
out.
can see each other. I mean, I think if you had one camera maybe above in the corner, like looking down, maybe, I don't know how we do
At our
it,
mess.
but
Yeah, I got maybe something like that will give a
bounce it
feel
off
for
a
that.
mirror.
But it is good that we see each other because the energy flow, the feng shui is healthy in here.
See this shot, which Rob, you can't see the shot, but I got one wide shot that's up right now. That's Kim and Ray, and I love that shot. But it would be kind of cool if I could have another shot that had was able to see all of us at once. It might give a little
It would
bit
have
more.
to be over there
Yeah, probably something like
or
that.
something like that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Abul Yasa Hassan Lodi says MK with its vast mythology would be better as a series. Giving it a Witcher-like treatment would be great in my opinion. Love from India.
Mortal Kombat.
I disagree. I don't think it would. Listen, if you can't tell a good story with the movie in movie format, you can't tell a good story if it's in a TV show format. The problem with Mortal Kombat, it never felt rushed. It didn't feel anything like that. You had plenty of time. They shouldn't tell a very good story.
But you can also like tell every character story in that universe, like giving their own episode. You know what I mean. You could also do that too, which I would agree with. If it was a series, you could start telling the stories of each character.
Okay, I said just a couple more, but you know what? Let's get through all the super chats that came in.
All right, let's
we're
do it.
gonna motor through this really
Let's do
quickly
it.
here, guys. All right, what's next?
Okay,
By the way,
preach.
quickly, the reason we have more super chats today than we normally do.
Me.
No.
Me.
Well, yes, partially because of Rob. But the other thing is, I usually cut off super chats earlier, but I forgot that when we had tried to start the show earlier,
yeah.
a whole bunch of
Oh,
super
yeah.
chats came in, and then I forgot about all those super chats that already came in, and so I just looked at how many came in during the news show, and I forgot, oh crap, there's also all those other ones, so that's why we have more than we normally do right now. Okay, let's fly through these last bunch here.
All right, Preach More Comedy says Living Single needed a reunion special, not Friends.
Which one was Living Single?
So that was with Queen Latifah
Yeah.
and Kim Fields, and it was the same concept,
Oh, no.
and it came out before Friends.
I don't
And
remember
they
this.
tried to put it on NBC, and they didn't. But then they created Friends, and it's the same plot. It's almost the same exact characters. You have the Phoebe type, and there's
And I
there's
still have a
some feels
massive
about
crush.
that.
Queen Latifah. I know.
You mean
but
the
I still have
Equalizer?
a massive crush on her.
You mean the Equalizer?
I mean, you know what? I mean, set it off.
Oh yeah.
Do you like her in Chicago?
I like her in anything.
All right, what's next?
Fifi says, do you think these reports about The Flash are going to hurt its box office numbers? And
Nope.
do you think the backlash online will actually help the Batman or hurt it?
Neither. You got to remember, the number of people actually reading these reports represents about 2% of the movie-going audience, or less. And I don't even think any of those 2% are going to be turned off from seeing. Like, if you're interested in comic book movies, you're going to go see Flash. I mean, it just is. So it is what it is.
In the trailer, the first time they show Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton in one frame together talking,
Yeah, no, that'll sell it.
no one will care.
Yep, nobody will care. It's a very, and I know
They're
I
gonna
don't
go.
think it's going to have any impact on the Batman either.
No.
I really don't. All right, what's next?
Raymond Verada says HBO Max can make all the money with the WB reunion specials. Lord of the Rings, Matrix, maybe they should have done one instead of Thor, Batman, Nolan.
Now, listen, remember during the pandemic, I can't remember who did it. Somebody was it who's the guy who plays LeFou in Beauty and the Beast? Josh Gad. Was it
yeah.
Josh Gad who did those reunion things
Yeah.
over Zoom? They do an HBO Lord of the Rings reunion like that.
Did you see
Game over.
Did you see the Stephen Colbert Lord of the Rings rap?
Yes. One of our
That
viewers
was
said it to
pretty
me.
great.
Yeah,
That was pretty great.
They do a Lord of the Rings like that one, Raymond.
I would totally cry. Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, yeah.
Elijah Wood together. Oh my god.
And then you get why am I forgetting the name of one of the greatest singers in the history of world from the Eurythmics? Annie Lennox. You get Annie Lennox like live in there with just like 20 people from the cast and to sing Into the West. I didn't cry at the Harry Potter one. I will weep like a frickin' baby.
Anne's gonna take a picture of you on the couch.
What are you doing, John? I'm crying. That would totally be me. You have Annie Lennox come in and start singing Into the West. I'll be done. I'll be totally done. All right, what's next?
Movie Craze says Kim won the bet and wanted to set terms, but you didn't set terms. Sounds to me like you wrote her a blank check and have to do whatever she says.
Not the
within
way it works.
reason.
So we had a bet, right? Like Ray and I had a bet, and we set what the terms of the bet are. Kim and I never actually got around to setting terms of the bet. And then she ended up winning the bet. But at that point, because you're not risking anything. So that's why, had I won the bet, and I thought I did, because remember the projections came out for the first Friday, and the projection said it was going to come
Yeah.
under 250.
Yeah.
At that point, I could have gone, okay, so here's what you have to do when I win. But I'm like, nah. We didn't.
We should have set the terms.
We
never
should have,
set
but
the
I said,
terms.
you know what? No, it looks like I'm going to win, but it's too late for me to set the terms because now it looks like I'm going to win. I can't set the terms once it looks like I'm going to win. So we didn't set any terms. Turns out, came in over projections, and she did win the bet. But at that point, it's too late to set terms because you're not risking anything.
So mad.
So, oh yeah,
So
you're mad
mad.
now. But had you lost, had it made like $7 million less,
I'm game. I
you'd
would
be
have
very
I
happy
would have
that-
eaten a
because you don't know what was in my evil
chocolate-covered
mind.
cricket. I would have eaten a chocolate-covered cricket.
all right,
I would like to have seen that.
what's
like to
next?
Cosmocon1 says, Happy New Year, John and Co. I don't know about you guys, but the DECU equals joke. How do you fumble Henry Cavill as Superman? That's like fumbling Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man.
Except that Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man was beloved by everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets that. Like everybody's just like, look, nobody loves Man of Steel more than me. I don't think Zack Snyder's
I love
mother.
it too.
I know you love it. Like even Schnepp eventually came around on it. I don't think Zack Snyder's mother loves Man of Steel more than I do. But the reality is, I was not in the majority. Or at least even if I was, it was a very thin majority. There's a huge mistake you're missing there. Everybody loved Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man from day one.
Yep.
The Henry Cavill interpretation of Superman, while I think it's the best one ever, was not nearly as well received across the board.
You know, I think people loved Henry Cavill. They just didn't love the movie.
Dude, I get so many messages from people saying Henry Cavill's wooden, the expression is looking. I got a lot of people writing into me all the time that didn't like Henry Cavill.
Oh, see,
which is completely beyond me. I
Yeah.
don't get that at all. But hey, all film is subjective. I get it. That's their point of view. That's fine. But yeah, we can't pretend like there's similar situations there, though, Cosmocon. We can't pretend like they're similar. They're very different sets of circumstances. All right, what's next?
Mike Hill says, It's very rare I care so much or get emotional over things like this, but if the leaks are true about the DC erasing, I'm heartbroken. Superman is my favorite hero, and now it seems he's gone.
Well, look, it's the same thing. Superman is here now. Guess what? We had another Superman. We had Christopher Reeves. Then we had another Superman in Brandon Routh. By the way, I like Brandon Routh as Superman.
Me too.
Then we got a new Superman in Henry Cavill. And guess what? He's my favorite of all time. Eventually, there will be another Superman. And it will go on like that. And there will be different Batmen through the years. There will be different Spider-Men through the years. Let's not pretend like them changing out a character is something new. So many people, like when they canceled Spider-Man 4, I remember I was doing the movie blog. The cries of, I will never watch another Spider-Man movie again. If it's not Tobey Maguire, I will never watch Spider-Man again. Guess what happened? The Amazing Spider-Man came out with Andrew Garfield, made good money. It was a great movie. The second one, not so much. And then when they canceled, those who were fans of Andrew Garfield, it's got to be Andrew Garfield. Well, then Tom Holland. Guess what? Tom Holland's awesome. And it's the same thing with Superman. And so we will grow past this. We will grow past it. All right, what's next?
Elizabeth Gerardo says, My little sister and I are watching Daredevil. This
Nice.
is my second watch, and I'm happy to say it really does hold up. So glad Charlie will be back.
I mean, I think a lot of people are very.
I'm
very happy
rewatching it
about
right
that.
now too.
I mean, I got to go back and
do.
do I haven't done a rewatch of Daredevil in a while. I freaking love that show.
So freaking good.
So I got to go back and get on that again. All right. I'm glad you're doing that, Elizabeth. All right. What's next?
Gaz's Gossip says, I don't think there will be any future with HP.
Harry Potter.
You have to have J.K. Rowling, but since she is a bone of contention, she won't be involved in any future plans.
Guess what? I disagree. I think there's a way past this. We're not going to get into the whole thing. If you want political discussion, go somewhere else. But I do think it's definitely on the board. I don't think as many people care one way or the other about it as maybe it appears. But again, I wouldn't write it off. I wouldn't write it off at all. And you're right. There can be no Harry Potter without her. Like she is the commander-in-chief of Harry Potter. Nothing can happen. Hell, even the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at like Universal Studios, she had to personally inspect every brick, the placement of every wand. Like she has to approve everything when it comes to Harry Potter. So we'll see. We'll see how this.
I mean, the real question is, if they announced a new Harry Potter movie
with those three
characters, and J.K. Rowling was writing the screenplay, like in the Fantastic Beasts movie, would the public say yay or nay?
The general public?
Yeah.
The general public would go crazy for it.
And that's, I think, ultimately the bean counters are going to weigh that. It's all about money.
No, it is all about money. But here's what they do. If they did do that, she should not write the screenplay. She should write the story and then hand it off to an actual screenwriter and let the screenwriter adapt it for the screen.
Yeah.
But who knows if they'll do that or not. All right, what's next?
Munekita04 says, been waiting on the Batman for half a decade now.
I wanted the Ben Affleck one, but hey, I'm excited for this Matt Reeves one. What's next?
Max Vem says 5 Potter movies here in Austria, Netflix top 10.
Oh, so 5 of the Harry Potter movies are in the Netflix top 10 in Australia? I don't even think they're on Netflix here. I think they're on another service.
They're not on Netflix, but that proves how this special worked.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was also to goose people go back and watch things again. So they look at those analytics and say, look at how much money we're going to get.
All right, last
Alrighty.
question of the day.
This is coming from Thunder Knight. As much as I love Harry Potter, I don't know how you do a new movie without Voldemort as the antagonist.
It's easy. That's like saying, I don't know how you do another James Bond movie without Blofeld. I don't know how you do another James Bond movie without, not Iron Jaw. What was his name again?
Jaws.
Jaws. Without Jaws. I don't know how you do another James Bond movie you develop a new story, a new threat, and you move on. I mean, most franchises do that. I think they could do that here too. And remember, Voldemort for a lot of the Harry Potter movies wasn't even involved. Like for a long time, for the first, 3 or 4 movies, like you never actually saw Voldemort. You heard his name mentioned, but you never actually saw him. So I think you could very easily, because people love Harry Potter for Harry Potter. And
it's
Hermione.
The world. It's the whole world. It's not just the villain.
It's the wizarding world.
And there could be a new threat that's involved that mirrors our world today. What's going on in our world today, that kind of a manifestation of evil that they would have to come back as adults and deal with?
It would be interesting to see what they would do. All right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so much for being here and making this show a part of your day. Listen, we didn't get around to any of the questions that got emailed in. Don't worry. Either myself, or now that Rob's here, either myself or Rob will be doing a companion video. Keep your guys' eyes open for that, and we will get caught up on those questions as well. A special thank you to all of you guys who did send in those questions, the super chats, the tip questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. Number 2, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so very much for that support. I want to thank, of course, Kimberly Ann Kern for being here. Kimberly, where can people follow you?
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at WasGoodKimberly.
Ray Aura.
Where
can people follow you?
Ray Aura with a 0 instead of the O. Thank you.
And of course, returning now is Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, where can people follow you?
Well, you can find me at the movie theater the Friday night that Moonfall opens, and I'll be there with Ray Aura. But you can find me on Instagram at RM Burnett, find me on Twitter at Burnett RM, or find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work.
And of course, you guys can follow me on Instagram or on Twitter, simply right there at John Campea. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here with us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff that I never tell you guys to do, but people are telling me I should remind you to do that. Please click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. All's good. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. My name's John Campea, And until next time, my friends, and this thing's going to accidentally pop up. No, it's not. Okay. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.